we were when we went through these, Beena?
I guess it was module 4 finished, but let's just go over so we can see.
Okay, so all right, so let's do screen share.
In my mind, it was module 4 was finished, but
Oh, okay. So module 4 is impeccability and energy management, testing ourselves and what we know, making what's learned our own, so we can be real. I don't remember where we were when we did these at all. I don't remember.
okay.
Module 3 ends with the life detective and trust. Do you remember doing that or no?
No. Okay, just start from module 3. If we remember, we will skip it.
Okay.
A bit.
Okay. I think we started. We did strategic ways of being. That we did, and I think we did exemplification of being, and I think that's where we were. I don't think we did the dictionary of power.
It's always good to just revise all these things. So okay, just start with module 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Donna, you remember any of them?
No.
All right. So, okay.
My memory is getting unique lately.
All right. Yeah. I just remember relevant.
Something is happening, Donna. Something is happening.
Yeah.
Something is definitely happening.
And that's exciting. That's exciting. That's very exciting. All right. So let's see. Module 3, session 2. Okay, so you want to do module 3, session 1, the one that's on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. On our self-conception. Okay, where is it now? So, module 3, session 1. Okay, here we go. All right, brilliant. So the intent here is we are going to do this relatively quickly, and
Yes.
we are looking to pay attention to not what is necessarily valuable or significant. We're not saying, yes, that's important, because pretty much all of it is, right? Or at least we hope so. But we are going to be looking to say, yes, okay, I remember this, and yes, it clicks in me, and we are going to stop and pay attention to what we didn't remember. Like, oh, that's new to me. And then on that point, in other words, that's something that before it skipped somehow. It didn't click. We missed it in some way. So it's a very powerful technique of filling in the holes, and also it allows us. Our other objective is to acquire overall zoomed out perception. So we're just going to go fast, fairly quickly, let things come, let things happen, and then when something says, "Oh, wait a second," this doesn't, and then we stop on that. Okay. So module 3, session 1, redefining self-conception. And just from my point of view, this redefining self-conception, it is one of the disruptive technologies of the way of impeccability. It's a huge deal. It's one of the core critical factors that transform us into more. All right. Let's make this full screen. Strategic ways of being. This is important. We are looking at developing strategic ways of being, not just any way of being, but strategic ways of being. All right. Choosing a self-conception which deeply resonates with you and which represents all of the key underlying fundamentals presented in this program is vitally important and leads to a deep and profound change of self-conception, which impacts everything you do and are. Power comes from the kind of knowledge one holds. What is the sense of knowing things which are useless? As spirit warriors, we take this to heart, focusing on knowledge which we can apply in our day-to-day lives. Usefulness comes from application. Without application, it's all meaningless. Our aim is a new way of living, a deliberate way of living. Again, that one single word is utterly transformative. One which you choose, not me, you choose freely because it makes sense and not because someone is saying it's valuable. Most of the value you acquire is going to come from application, and thus there has to be some measure of accepting without accepting and believing without believing until the validity of this new way of living is validated for you by you. We'll add these sophisticated conceptions to our dictionary of power as we will do anything. So maybe that's a good idea, by the way, to have your notes for your dictionary of power handy, so you can just add things as they come, just to update and refresh that as part of this exercise. Yeah.
Already do.
Okay, Beena, how about you?
Yes, I'm also.
Okay, brilliant. These conceptions are strategic ways of being, which enable us to set aside logic and rationality without doing so completely. We're connecting to a meta logic, actually. We'll trust without trusting, and in so doing, we obtain value and use without needing to have explanations which insist on a certain worldview. But we're not fools either, blindly accepting and believing just anything. The issue is always value and use, thus applicability. A spirit warrior goes to knowledge as they go to war, wide awake, with fear, with respect, and with absolute assurance. Going to knowledge or going to war in any other manner is a mistake, and whoever makes it will live to regret their steps. It's a big deal. We don't necessarily.
Just hold on. Just
Sure,
hold on.
sure, sure. Go back.
Before you goes to knowledge, as you go to wide awake, with fear, with respect, and with absolute assurance. Okay.
That's the key part. The rest is just part of the quote, but just saying, there's consequence, but this is the key part. To go I can't, sorry, to to go
With
with,
absolute
with yeah,
assurance.
right, correct, wide awake also, and with a bit of fear and with a bit of respect, and we'll go into why those four are so critical in a moment here. So we do get in. We don't necessarily feel we're in a war, but we are. We're in a war with ignorance, lack of awareness, habit, should, ego, assumption, ingrained perceptions and beliefs, and more. Shifting to the perception of being at war keeps us vigilant, alert, and paying attention beyond the obvious and known. Above all, it keeps us from being cocky, a death sentence in any kind of war. Keeps us humble, in other words, thinking that we're in a war and alert. We might question fear in that group. Why would we deliberately want to feel fear? It's not a positive feeling, and we tend to think of it as debilitating. But that's only if we're not a warrior. A warrior knows fear can be transformed into caution, and when used strategically, sharpens them, heightens all their senses, elevates their attention, leverages appreciation, and on the whole, connects them to a world larger than themselves. Caution, thus, keeps us on our toes. So fear is a leveraging mechanism. You get your adrenaline going, you get your energy pumped up. It's like when you go on a roller coaster. People love roller coasters. But it's a fear experience, really. But it can be transformed. But there's one critical reason why we need to always be connected to caution. Without it, we'll lack humility. Without humility, we're lost. Self-assurance becomes a liability and a detriment. Caution is thus vital for balance, an integral part of a warrior's makeup. Going to knowledge demands such sobriety, because also there is always more. Yeah. So fear just, it connects us to that humility, and without that fear, we can easily become cocky or forget. A warrior is always in balance. Always. Always. At least strives to be. We might not always succeed, but we try. Shifting our conception to perceive ourselves as at war constantly leverages us. Self leveraging is critically important in our endeavor because since we're at war, we're always in connection with strategy. Leveraging ourselves is an incredible strategy, critically necessary for dealing with our nincompoopry. As nincompoops who don't take things seriously, we mess about and fritter our lives away. but even nincompoops act when they're in a war and feel the pressure. So it just shifts us into sobriety, right? To be at war. We can also use this idea of changing our self conception to leverage another side of ourselves, our fun and playful sides, by considering ourselves, for instance, as agents of the universe. So there's many ways to be at war. You don't have to be at war as a warrior. You can be at war, as part of the supply chain, as part of the strategic planners, as an agent, as a spy in a foreign country, whatever. Many ways to enjoy being at war. Let's put it that way. I mean, to have fun with war, and of course to take it seriously at the same time, right? Our nincompoop side likes to play, and we can use that, especially since play is the best way to learn. We're motivated, energized, interested, immersed, enthusiastic, and most of all, whatever we need to learn to facilitate our play has pertinence and relevance to this goal of playing. Pertinence and relevance are essential for emphasis, and this is how we train our brain. And we train our brain through our own emphasis. This is very important, particularly in the way of impeccability. You, as a participant, decide on what you emphasize, what you add to your dictionary of power, how you construct your self conception. It's your emphasis, your takeaways, which make you, not what comes from here. This is just a baseline, a mechanism. It's just opening the door. What you choose to emphasize, this is you and you alone that decides that. Connecting back to our self leverage. When we regard ourselves as an agent of the universe, well, for instance, the end results of the heightened attention and awareness are real. Knowing it's self leverage makes no difference. Neither does knowing it's a form of play. We obtain the very real benefits of motivation, energy, and interest. And of course, also have fun and connect to joy. So I want to add in, for instance, there. Okay. So we also have fun. Enjoy. It's a choice. There's no right or wrong in these things. We are doing it as a deliberate choice. As an agent, we're going to build our toolbox of skills, not only fill that toolbox, but practice, refine, and hone those skills to make us a hyper trained super agent capable of dealing with any situation. We've already added a few. Pause here to recap them and check your toolbox, codename Dictionary of Power. Make sure it's in a separate file, and we'll go over yours in the live takeaway sessions. All right. We've done some of that, but we'll do some more of it. Uh, how we conceive of ourselves is of vital importance when it comes to self leverage and to following a path of application. Our self perception and self conception in this has to resonate deeply. Resonance is a very powerful power term. We have to like our conception. The precise terminology is critical. If we aren't comfortable and enjoy our particular description and idea of self, we're unlikely to regard ourselves as such, and will get little value and usage from the associated tools, mindsets, perspectives, strategies, etc. Our particular conception. For many, the term warrior is compromised with connotations of aggression, violence, etc. But we're funny birds. A slight tweak can make the term most appealing. We could perhaps call ourselves spiritual warrior. Let's look at this in detail. So here we're focusing on tweaking this nuance of terminology, because when it comes to a self-conception, our inner bureaucrats really get into it, and it's a big deal of how they have to feel a resonance, and it has to feel honest, and it has to have that precise resonance. So the preciseness of how we conceive ourselves is crucially important. We have to make certain our integrity is comfortable with such intimately personal conceptions. If we are connecting to all aspects of the terms used, we will apply them internally by way of being fully behind them. Spiritual warrior is a good example. It could be problematic in the same way warrior is for many, in that we might say, well, I don't know if I can really call myself spiritual. I try to be. I'd like to be, but I'm not there yet. This can limit us from using such terms because our internal self honesty. And this is just obviously an example of how it might apply to not necessarily to everybody, but maybe it doesn't. So who knows? Anyway, but we can make such changes to such conceptions to satisfy our deep self. Like we could use the term spirit warrior instead. Here, the implication or meaning is that we are a warrior for spirit, a big difference. We're willing thus to fight for spirit, our own, others, spirit in general, and so on. Also, we don't have to be a fully trained warrior. Anyone who fights for spirit qualifies. Thus, we can now call ourselves with full integrity and personal belief uh, an essential shift. This we can now call ourselves with full integrity and personal belief. An essential shift if we are to utilize such terms to the max.
Ah,
Yeah. More? Is there more to that?
nope.
Okay.
So,
Understanding.
what
Yeah.
about? Sorry to interrupt, but
No. Please.
what
That's the point. Yeah.
what about personal belief here?
Exactly.
What it means?
Yes. It is important to have this be in attunement with your personal belief. If spirit isn't part of your personal belief, then obviously the term spirit warrior is not going to be one that you can use as your as a leveraging self-conception. The actual way you think of yourself, it doesn't really matter. It is simply to have a conception which is more than your legacy one of just your name, of thinking of yourself as Beena or Donna or so, right? Or as thinking of yourself as I don't know, as a woman or a man. Those tend to be somewhat limiting. What I can do as a man, is much less than what I can do as a spirit warrior. For me, a spirit warrior is an open-ended term that's constantly evolving and growing. It includes things like manifesting intent. It includes things like transcendence and in shifting to different worlds and all sorts of stuff. So it's a leveraging mechanism that puts me on an open-ended journey. This is the point of the spirit of the conception, rather than something like man or woman or businessman, student, I don't know, lecturer, whatever the hell, philosopher even. Those are all somewhat limited terms. They somewhat closed. They're not open-ended. They're not transformative. They're not leveraging. They don't enable me to be more. So this is the point of the self-conception, to get you to that point of moreness. So it doesn't matter what it is, totally irrelevant. So your belief, your
Okay.
personal belief is important. So you could say, okay, I'm an agent of Allah. Wow, wow, what a powerful conception that is. Yeah?
Okay. Yes, I understand. But when it comes to transformation, it doesn't seem like relevant to having a personal belief.
No.
If we still have our beliefs,
Yeah.
uh, and we are in transformation process for some reason, for transformation we are here in way of impeccability, what does it mean that okay we still have that our personal beliefs?
Yeah. And this part of this self-conception is to have a self-conception that transcends our self-beliefs, because those personal beliefs, they belong to your legacy conception. They belong to Beena, to Sil, to Donna. They don't belong to a spirit warrior. Whatever my personal beliefs are. For instance, as Sil, at some point, I used to believe in cool. When I was a teenager, man, I thought cool was very cool. At least a part of me. But my public side believed in cool. My private side thought it was just completely irrelevant and idiotic and nonsense. But still, I'm just saying, for instance, so, it's a personal belief I left behind a long time ago, or the belief in being irritated by irritating things, or being annoyed by transgressions of like rudeness, things like that. Again, it's just a personal belief, but yeah. So as a spirit warrior, how can I be annoyed? It doesn't make any sense, unless there's some strategic necessity for it. Just to be annoyed because, well, things are annoying. No, sorry, that's lame. That's feeble. That's weak. That's no good. That's unimpeccable. So yeah, personal beliefs. They. This is the point of the self-conception, is to have one that can transcend our personal beliefs. Absolutely, absolutely. Um,
Okay.
also, Bina,
For,
this. Oh,
yes.
I just wanted to say, we are employing a very sophisticated self-leveraging strategy. You could almost say it's kind of a trick, really, right? In this, that it's so simple when we just think of ourselves as a spirit warrior or as Soul or Donna or Bina. That simple shift, it allows us to do more, and there's no real good reason for it. but it's just the way the brain works. It is leveraging the inner bureaucrats and our habits and our legacy and the associations, the way the brain is trained. So it's that because there's this massive training, it just defaults into things. It's like your computer, you open it and it does some things automatically.
Uh,
So that's it.
I understand because we have previous association, past association with the word warrior. So we have these things. So okay, it
Right.
triggers, it activates all the memories and all the association
Exactly.
in our mind. So
Exactly.
it is sensible for me.
Right. Right.
What I'm talking, what I'm asking is when we have that, okay, this thing, this medal, this badge needs to be in synchronicity, or okay, acceptable and according to our personal belief. The word belief and having personal belief is somehow is just not getting in my mind, because when I'm here in Way of Impeccability to have a life transformation, and if it is still is about having uh, having my personal belief and accepting things according to my personal belief, this somehow is just not making sense to me.
Yes, you are quite right, Donna. At some point in our transformation, we have to realize that what our transformation is all about. And one of the key critical components of transformation is to transcend all of our personal beliefs.
Okay, my
You
personal
jump
belief
out of
about
that.
me.
Yes,
My personal belief about me is Beena
yes,
is the stupid person.
exactly,
Actually, yes,
exactly,
this is my personal belief. Okay, this
exactly,
was my personal belief
exactly.
about me, that Beena is simply
Right,
stupid. She
right,
don't understand things.
right,
Okay, and
right,
when you say or suggest, okay, consider yourself, uh, perceive yourself as a spirit warrior.
right,
It is not going with my personal belief.
right.
And no matter
Exactly.
how you dilute that, okay, aspirant, okay, whatever,
New noble,
it
whatever. Yeah.
does, whatever, no matter how humble you make it, you will not go in till the stupid one again, okay, stupid warrior.
Yes, yes. So we
so
have to,
so
yeah,
I need to first change my personal belief, because otherwise I will not get anything other than
correct,
stupid. Okay,
correct, correct,
so
correct. So you bring up a potent point here as the start of this. If we are very connected to it, like in your case, like this, to say no matter which self-conception I connect to, none of them feel real to me. I feel awkward because,
yes,
well, I believe I'm stupid. So you have
yeah.
to adopt a self-conception, knowing it is uncomfortable, it is awkward, but you are doing so because you have to, because you know your conception of Beena is tainted by this particular self belief. So you're saying, I might not be a spirit warrior now, but I'm going to make an effort to become one so that I can transcend the limitations of my personal self belief about myself. So
So
yes,
it doesn't need to be in accordance uh, with my personal belief about myself.
it especially does not want to be in accordance. You want to adopt a personal conception that is that is outside of your personal belief, and you are going to do so deliberately, saying, I don't quite feel it just yet, but it is a better alternative than the one I have, because as Beena, I feel I'm stupid. But as a spirit warrior, I know that yes, I might start off stupid, but I know I'm not in the longer term going to be. And my spirit warrior conception is founded on a sensibility, on an earnestness, on a sobriety, right? And on a greater transcendent sensibility. So, okay, I can adopt that and grow into it. Whereas with Beena, I know there's a limitation that I'm not going to transcend over because I truly believe Beena is stupid. So I have to leave Beena behind and say, okay, Beena was stupid, but I'm not going to be Beena so much anymore. I'm going to be a spirit warrior or spirit warrior Beena, which is a new Beena. So it is just something to say to our internal bureaucrats, hey, we are making a shift. We are doing something new. We're developing a new personality, a new character, a new self. In that new self, stupidity is not part of the deal. Because
Okay.
I can fairly say, And Donna can say, Beena is not stupid. Yes, I can see how you have come to this, where you have been stupid in the past, but and where you can still honestly say, I am stupid, because of course we are all stupid in some way. We are all nincompoops. But that is the point of the self-conception. It is to build in our stupidity as a part, not as the fullness. That knowledge of our stupidity keeps us humble, which is why we have nincompoopry as part of our self-conception. But it is not the totality. To say Beena is stupid is actually not really true. Beena can be stupid.
Hmm. Hmm.
Difference. Very big difference.
Okay.
So as a spirit warrior, you're saying, of course I can be stupid. I have to be vigilant to not be stupid. Nincompoopry and unawareness and closed perception, they always things that's what we're at war with. We're at war with unawareness and bubble mindset and immersion and all this stuff. But we aren't saying it is a part of us. And this is a big difference. It is not a belief, it is a possibility. Big difference, right?
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Donna, how does that resonate for you or connect or anything?
It's all good.
Okay. So this internal nuance, it's a very big deal in the in when it comes to self leverage. And so, this point is very important. And look, especially when we ever vigilant of that ever present and sometimes subtle and sneaky enemy, self importance. In this case, there's an element of self importance associated with Beena saying she's stupid. You might think it's the reverse, but I'm saying I'm stupid. How is that self important? Well, it is in a way, because in for the ego, it says if I say I'm stupid, it frees me up from lots of responsibilities of behavior. It allows me to say, well, okay, I'm kind of special in a way because I'm stupid. Give me space. So it's asking for a favor, as it were, and it's a way of abdicating responsibility. I'm not saying this applies to you, Beena, but if we
Mm-hmm.
understand this, that in some way the ego can do funny things in order to give it some kind of
Yes.
performance.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so it just, we have to, it's a subtle and sneaky enemy. So we have to be ever vigilant of that. But we are saying no, as a spirit warrior or whatever your conception is, agent of the universe, whatever, it doesn't matter. Because now we are saying, hey, you know what? I am adopting a self-conception which is saying I am more. And this is a profound responsibility. I can't make excuses anymore. I'm saying, no, I can be more. I'm able to be more. And thus, I'm leveraging myself to be more. I can't make excuses and say, oh, well, I'm too stupid. No, 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 no. Uh-uh. No, we are saying we can. That's big. That's huge. That's huge, yes? I mean, it's intimidating in a way because we're taking on a profound challenge. We are taking on the challenge of being sensible and being sober and being strategic
Uh,
and being responsible. Yes?
okay. Yes, it could be the case that yes, ego is always there, always with
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
and it plays really crafty. It plays really
Yes.
smartly. So
Yes.
no one can say that. Oh, I'm completely free of that.
Right.
So yes, it's always there. But sometimes being stupid, okay, feels because
Yeah.
in some part of our lives
Oh, yeah.
we are not able to operate at same with same competency what other people
Right.
are operating
Yeah. But
from.
that's
So
that's part of our
it makes you
humility.
feel
Right.
stupid.
Exactly. Exactly. But it's part of our humility to know that, hey, you know what? In some cases, I don't have the skills and abilities that others have. But it doesn't make me stupid necessarily. It simply means that I am different and I'm embracing my difference. I'm celebrating it and I'm saying, hey, I'm going to leverage and maximize these my different skills and talents. I'm not an actuary or a mathematical genius. Other people have this ability to just do math. I don't have that. Maybe I could learn it, but the effort reward isn't worth it for me. I don't need to. Why? I can leverage it through others. I can find a calculator. There's many ways that I can get around it. I don't have to have all of the skills. What I do need is impeccability and strategy and sensibility and overview perspective. Those qualities allow me to transcend the specific limitations, for instance, in terms of I don't know how to do some things, I don't have some skills, like the math skill. It's not part of my brain, or maybe art, or whatever. It doesn't matter. I can find ways to work around it and to utilize and find other ways to make use of things. So
Mm.
this is where
Mm.
our strategy comes into it, and this is a profound strategy. So
Mm.
we say it doesn't matter in the end. So what if I'm stupid in some things? I can utilize other sensibility in that regard. I
Mm.
can find
Mm.
alternative ways. So being
Mm.
strategic, this is the key. Being impeccable,
Okay.
this is the key,
Okay.
right? And being aware
Got it.
as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yes. Got it.
It's very powerful. I mean, take the warrior logic. Sorry, just to add to this, if you go into
Mm.
warrior as a battle and you know that your skill as a sword wielder isn't so good, but you can wield a pike or a halberd or bow and arrow. You say, well, fine. I'm not going to get into fights with a sword. I'm going to use my bow and arrow instead because that's where my skill is. You just adapt. You
Mm.
just be strategic. So okay, very powerful. Okay, let's carry on. A warrior is a master of psychology, especially their own. That's precisely what we were talking about. I forgot this was here. So this is how we transcend this, right? Our
Mm.
stupidity, to be a master of our own psychology.
Mm.
To know we
Mm.
are stupid is part step one. Just knowing we are stupid makes us profoundly, profoundly, profoundly less stupid.
Mm. Mm. Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's huge.
I
It's
agree.
huge. It's so huge. As mentioned, warrior or person of knowledge has been used in this context, and we'll be looking at other similar terms with the additional understanding that such individuals seek more than just effort reward balance and getting their shit together. What if we shift our conception to one of purpose and process rather than one of specific definition? This is the
In
key.
looking at what you were just talking about,
Mhm.
let's stupid. I don't really like that word, but
No, no.
if
Ignorant.
a person felt they were stupid in looking at a strategy, and when you're looking at transcending, nobody's going to know but you if you've
Exactly.
embraced your lack of knowledge or whatever. I'm not going
Mm.
to use
Yeah,
stupid. I don't
yeah,
like
yeah.
that word.
Your
Mhm.
unawareness. Let's just call it that.
Well, yeah.
Ignorance. Ignorance.
And what happens for me is like in looking at that, you can laugh at yourself like I do often.
Exactly.
That isn't
Mm.
self-deprecating.
No.
That is a
Mm.
confidence in knowing that, okay, I'm, not 100% always aligned with my source that keeps me,
Right.
making wise decisions. Sometimes I stray, but I'm okay with
Mm.
that.
Right.
And when you can like
Mm.
embrace it, then it
Mm.
shifts to a place and make space for it to come easier. That's what I experience anyway.
Yes. Yes.
So
Oh.
I just
Mm.
wonder sometimes, sometimes the unawareness is there, and for
Mm.
me I have to make sure that I'm not judging others, because you never ever, and this is one thing I tell myself because I have a misjudgmental in me too, that you
Mm.
never know what's going on in somebody else's journey.
Yes.
You don't know
Yes.
where
Mm.
they are, you don't know their level of
Yes.
awareness, you don't know their thoughts, you don't
Yes.
Mm.
know what's shifted, what's not. So the only thing I can do is like every day try to be aware of myself. And that self conception is continually changing. It's
Yes.
amazing how much it changes. So
Yes.
that's all I wanted to say on that.
Yes. If we,
Okay. Okay. It means that it is all about embracing it
yes.
uh,
And
and
acknowledging it.
And
having.
acknowledging it's a part of you.
Yes. Yes.
Just one
Okay.
aspect,
Yeah. If
Okay.
we
but
take
Okay.
there's
two,
so many aspects to us. And
yeah,
that's the other thing that
yeah,
shifted
yeah,
dramatically.
yeah.
I used to say, well, there's mom and there's daughter
Mm.
and yada yada, but that's not even what I'm talking about.
I'll be back in a second.
It's so much bigger than just mom, Donna,
Mm.
daughter, wife, blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
When
Mm.
we're talking about all the different aspects of ourselves.
Yeah. Yes. So take this thing like, okay, being stupid also as, okay, yes, at some aspect of our life, of my life I am, but in other aspects I'm different. This is what you are saying, Rona?
Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm not always aware, and sometimes I'm very unaware and I'm observing it. And
Mm.
I used to get frustrated and angry with myself for being unaware at times. And
mm,
now,
mm,
sure, I aspire to always be connected and make wise decisions and not be
mm,
quote unquote stupid. But I
mm,
I also recognize that in those situations they're there. And sometimes I'm not
mm,
connected and sometimes I'm a nincompoop. And so
mm,
not only to accept that, but to embrace it and be like put a ribbon on it and say that's part
mm,
of me. I'm perfect just the way I am. And yeah, sometimes I'm a nincompoop and do silly things, but that
mm,
is the part of the me that's
mm.
uniquely me. And I'm good with that. So that's just how it feels for me. And when I
Okay, okay.
shifted from being irritated and wanting to make that go away and just say, okay, it's there for now.
Mm,
Maybe it'll go away, maybe it won't, maybe this is just part of me. But right now in this moment, I was unaware and I did something silly and I just laugh at myself and think, okay, well, next time hopefully I won't have that
mm,
same kind of situation or response. That's
mm.
just how it feels for me.
I do.
Okay, okay. Donna, it is not just like I'm saying that, or it's just using as a term. It was the fact in my life that I actually believe in that yes, I am stupid because of so many aspects in my life. I made a lot of stupid decisions. Okay, stupid, not appropriate, and not so wise. Okay, now I can say that. But just before coming here and before meeting my FB friends, I was actually having a belief in my life that okay, I am stupid because I'm not capable enough to understand people. I'm not able to deal with all these things in life. So I was actually quite assured about myself that yes, Beena, no matter what people say about you, you are actually stupid. I had a strong belief in that. Even when I came here in way of impeccability, still I was in that phase. So, and yes, people were praising me. Oh, they're always saying that, okay, giving me compliments and tapping and all these things. But inside myself, I had a strong belief that I'm stupid. And when Sil was a cricket king, calling ourselves spiritual warriors, so I said, no, how can I say that? Even when the first thing on this way of impeccability module, I was reluctant to say that, and I asked myself like many times the questions again and again. Oh, to have a strong faith in my good intent and being impeccable, and I was like, how can I say all these good things about myself? But
Ah,
I'm not. So I was quite reluctant about that, and I had these strong feelings that okay and belief, and it's still sometimes in some aspects I still feel that yes, I'm not like as smart as other people in some ways. Yes, I'm not.
well, you're not. That's
So
just the
okay, now
reality.
not
That's
stupid,
just the
not
reality. And
stupid.
neither is Donna, and neither am I.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
And
Yes.
that's
You.
okay.
Yeah. Let
But
me ask you
yes, you
this,
are
Beena.
saying
So
yes.
you're managing a team, or a netball team, or cricket team, or whatever. You've got two players, and they both have exactly the same skill level, exactly the
Mm,
same. But one player is aware of their deficiencies, of what they still need to learn, of the gaps in their skills. So that one player is aware of what they don't know, of their
mm,
stupidities as a player, in other words, of their skills,
mm,
and the other
mm.
isn't. Which do you put on your team?
Of course, who is aware?
Exactly. So this is the point I'm making.
Mm,
Awareness of our limitations is a
yes.
profound leveraging benefit and a boon. It now suddenly we go from being in that bubble of being limited by those
Mm,
limitations to being
mm,
enhanced by those limitations. It's
mm.
an amazing thing.
Okay.
It's so simple.
Okay.
But the one is a
Okay.
profound limitation, the other one is a profound advantage. Because when you know where your limitations are, you can adapt strategically. You can compensate. You can make allowance for it. It is a
Mm,
huge deal. So this fact that you are acutely aware of your stupidity, this is a profound benefit as long as you don't allow it
okay.
to limit you. Yes, we
Mm,
are all stupid compared to the universe, right?
yes.
So it is now all you need to do is shift the context of which your stupidity applies. Is your stupidity saying that I can't learn? Is this actually accurate? Like in the context of the way of impeccability. Have you been unable to learn the way of impeccability? Hell
No.
no. Hell no. Of course not. You
No.
know it. You learn it. You understand the concepts. You can communicate. You can
Yes.
articulate. You can say. So you're now you have to say, oh yes, I am stupid, but I'm stupid relative to the universe, not relative to anything else, and I don't care about that. It's unnecessary. It doesn't matter. I know where my stupidity lies, but just because I am stupid does not mean I am incapable of learning.
Okay. Okay. Sorry to distract you from
No,
this,
no,
because
no,
this
no.
self
This is
belief
what we are here for.
is
This is what
is
we are here for.
always a always a soft spot for me, that
Right,
because
right,
I
right.
always get stuck
So
there.
embrace
Okay.
it and turn it into a power to say, hey, yes, I know I am stupid. I feel the same way, Donna, Beena. I
Hmm.
absolutely feel the same way. Yet I
Hmm.
say, because I am stupid, I need to learn. I need to be diligent. I need to be scrupulous. I need to be thorough. I need to think things through to the end. Why? Because I'm stupid. I can't just assume. I don't have that to go directly to the end. No, I've got to think it through deliberately and carefully and slowly. Otherwise, I'm too stupid. I don't get it. So I have to be thorough. So I leverage my stupidity to make sure that I'm being thorough and I'm being impeccable. So my stupidity forces me to be impeccable. Why? Because I am stupid.
Hmm.
If I'm not impeccable, my
Hmm.
stupidity can screw me over very quickly. So
Okay.
turn it
Okay.
into a power,
Yeah.
leverage it,
Yeah.
use it.
And okay, I did this many times before, and I will do this again, because it needs, because this self belief, this of being
Yeah,
stupid,
right.
is engraved, was engraved in my mind.
Yeah,
So it
right,
comes up every single time.
right,
So okay, no matter how we do that, it
right,
always, whenever it comes to self belief, I just
right,
ponder it. I
right.
emphasize on that
Right.
again and again,
Exactly. So
and
make
I will.
one powerful, focus maybe or perception or shift. Being stupid, obviously, obviously. So we just want some clarity here. Being stupid, obviously, does not mean you are
Or
incapable of learning because you have learned. You've learned many things in your life,
oh
right?
yes, oh
So
yes,
so you
yes.
know that despite being stupid, you can learn, right? It just is a factor of how you learn. Being stupid just means that we might learn slower, right?
Mm,
Or
mm,
not learn instantaneously or immediately, but we can learn.
mm,
So this is the
mm,
key factor. So say, yes,
mm,
I am stupid, but this doesn't mean I'm incapable of learning. I just learn slowly and I just learn
mm,
deliberately. And so, okay, I leverage that. It makes me thorough. It makes me scrupulous. It makes me diligent. And I have to be impeccable in order to learn. But it means I can learn. And this is
mm,
important, right? To say, despite being stupid, I still learn, which you do.
mm.
Honestly, you cannot tell me honestly that you cannot learn.
Oh, of course I can learn.
Right.
I'm ready.
Exactly. So stupidity
Of
in this
course.
case, the understanding that we are stupid, it keeps us humble, it keeps us
Mm,
appropriate, it keeps us in relative context to the universe. We don't run away with ourselves. So
mm,
stupidity, our knowledge, our knowing, because I feel the same way, Beena. Truly, I really feel the
mm,
same way. It keeps us humble and it keeps us alert. It keeps us vigilant. It keeps us strategic. It keeps us connected to others because we say, hey, the way I can transcend my stupidity is through collaboration, through cooperation, through community,
mm,
right? And through
mm,
strategy, through awareness. I might be stupid, but that doesn't mean I have to be unaware, right?
mm.
It's a way for me to leverage my stupidity to say, bloody hell, I better be aware because, well, I'm stupid. If I'm not aware, I'm really going to get into trouble. I need to learn because I'm stupid. So I leverage
Mm,
it to empower me, to motivate me, to fuel me, to get me to more. So this is a powerful thing. And, anything through perspective shifting, we can turn anything from a detriment into a boon. We can make our
I,
cute
I have
awareness of
a
being
couple
stupid
things.
into a gift. Say again, Donna?
I have a couple things on self-conception. Um, the balance between transcending outside of your personal beliefs of who you are to, let's say, we'll use the word spirit warrior. For me, I still want those different aspects to be a part of spirit warrior.
Yes. Yes.
So it's been an integration of
Yes.
that,
Yes.
and that's been a journey for me.
Yes.
The other thing is spirit and soul in my mind. I do not have a clear distinction. I have a knowing that we're in a battle of almost like, for me, recapturing my soul. It's always been there, but just connecting to it, or whatever term you want to use. And so I feel as though I have the ability to learn concepts, and I do wonder sometimes with when you're retraining your brain, if it works the same way for everyone, and like if there is a traumatic brain injury and you're unable to learn the way the masses do, that is my question, because others seem to be able to transcend things so quickly and get to a place where their self concept is deeply embedded. And I've been doing this for so long. And I have a self concept that's confident in who I am, but I also have a self concept that includes the aspects of myself that as a spirit warrior, I still am. So for a while, I felt like to be a spirit warrior, I couldn't identify with the word mom. And now I'm like, no, I'm still a mom. It's just
Donna,
how I,
Donna, I'm struggling to hear you. You kind of sound very far away from the mic. Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, that's much better. Wow, what a difference. Okay.
So
You
for me,
you
it's just my self-concept of being a mom. The way that's the intention.
Again, it is soft.
yeah.
It's still soft?
Yes,
You
again.
came clear and then you went back again to what it was before. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then I won't say anymore. Let's go
There,
on.
there, there,
Oh,
there,
yes.
there, there.
Yes.
There?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's okay. I mean, we can go on.
No, now you're perfect. Now you're perfect.
No.
Say again. What's important? What you were saying. I want to hear it.
Yes.
It was just, it was a making peace with internal conflict with my self-concept,
Yeah.
and embracing the aspects of myself that are still important to me. So I had a conflict between being a spirit warrior and being a mom, for example. And
Mm.
as you know, I felt like it had to be one or the other. So I'm still working through, and I've come to a conclusion that for me, I found a peace in knowing that all those different aspects of me, and there are a ton of them, are always growing and they're always changing, and my self-concept is changing. And
Yes.
all I'm doing is in that moment shifting to what's important for that moment. And
Yeah.
that's not something that I had deliberately done in the past. I just reacted and flowed with what other people were dictating. So that's the biggest shift for me, is embracing all those different concepts about myself. I'm great with being mom. I'm great with being,
Yes.
daughter.
Yes.
I'm great with being
Yes.
coworker.
Yes.
It's how in those daily experiences, the self-concept of spirit warrior just brings in an awareness within the context of those quote unquote labels, and
Yes.
making peace with all that.
Yes.
So that's been the shift for me.
And it's huge because as mom, as worker, whatever, those were all relatively closed conceptions that had a limitation to them at an end, at a maximum. But when you added them into your more overall self-conception, they became elements which, yes, they are part of you, but in that new self-conception, it's open-ended and it is connected to infinity. Whereas the
Right.
conception of mom or office worker, whatever employee, those aren't connected to infinity. And this is the difference. This is the difference. The self-conception is one which is open and can go anywhere. It's connected to infinity. Whereas the old legacy self-conceptions, they tend to be limited and bubbles, and we can only go so far with them. And that's the power you've now transcended, where you can shift to this open-ended conception, and you utilize mom. You utilize all of the other conceptions as adding to you, not limiting you.
I'm not there yet. I still have aspects, but yes, that's what I'm saying. And also, oh, what was the important part in what you were saying? Oh, it all came about when I was asking about my internal self.
Can't hear you, Donna.
Okay, it all
There.
came about when I asked the question, what does it mean to be a divine being and to be an energetic being?
And
That
that's
was my
right
question.
there. When you ask that question, by implication, you are shifting your self-conception. When you say, "What does it mean to be a divine being?" By
For me,
implication, yeah, exactly. For me, by implication, your inner bureaucrat say, "Oh, Donna is considering herself to be a divine being." Right there, your self-conception shifted to include, "I am a divine being," and as a divine being, that's an open-ended conception. Very simple. Simply asking that question also associated you with that as a self-conception for you by implication.
and
That's
where I have a challenge, yes. And where I have a challenge with my brain, the way it works, or whoever I am, the physical, is that I want to know a definition. I want to make that black and white still. I want to know, what does it mean to be a divine being? What is a spirit? What is soul?
I love
How
that.
do I
Uh,
be here in this world
yeah,
and walk this walk and be a divine being? Because I
right.
don't want to willy-nilly do it. It's too important.
Yes, yes. And that insistence on knowing precisely is going to be this lifelong quest. It's you are going to say, okay, divine being is this, and this, and then say, as you grow into that, you know, well, it's actually more as well. It's actually more, and this you continually going to be updating that self-conception because a divine being, of course, is connected to infinity. So this definition of a divine being is one which will continue with you forever, and you keep adding to it forever because it's connected to infinity. It's an infinite conception, and this is fantastic. So that desire to know it precisely is going to continually get you connecting to the moreness of it, and then the moreness of the moreness, and so on into infinity. It is phenomenal. It is profound. It is huge. Tyler, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. So this is a huge thing. So that desire to know the preciseness, leverage it, utilize it, expand it, hop on board and ride that to infinity. That necessity to know. I feel the same way about stuff. You did say one thing that is a big deal, Donna. You said others seem to change quickly, or can get to a new conception and transcendence and be something. I forget how you worded it, but you said something about others and that they can seem to do things quickly. And you mention this fairly often, and I want to know who these others are because I don't see them. I truly do not see anybody who is able to transcend
It's
quickly
just
and
my
who learns
stupid
quickly.
self.
I,
It's just my stupid self
right. Okay.
living in
Okay.
that
Well,
bubble.
because I
It's
mean,
not
seriously,
out yet.
seriously, if you do know such people, Donna, please introduce me to them because I don't see them. I don't see them. I learn very slowly. And I don't see anybody who just gets it quickly and immediately. I've never met somebody like that, and I would like to. So if you do
I
see
don't
them,
know
please.
why I have
Okay.
that. It doesn't matter. And I'm
Right.
aware it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's one
Right.
of my bubbles that I
Right.
feel like at some point I should transcend this.
Right.
And
But
then
it's
things,
not. Yeah, it's not that it doesn't matter. It's just that to me, it's just inaccurate. I don't know on what you base that perception. That's what I'm curious about. It's not the comparison that I'm concerned about. I mean, if there were such people, then I would say, okay, wow, it's possible to learn quickly and jump and transcend. But I don't see those people, and I'm curious who you see that you think learns so quickly and transcends and goes immediately. I've never encountered this.
I
I've
don't
never
know.
seen.
I have this knowing, this like sense that like you and Elevia and Beena and other people that surround my life are very much a spirit warrior and encapsulalize their divine essence and have totally transcended the limited definition of what they used to be. Just people that I know. I get this knowing that they operate at a different level. And I
Oh,
like connect to that level, but then
You cannot connect to that level if you yourself have not shifted.
Mm.
What level we are? Okay, I'm asking about me, not we.
I
What
was
level
waiting.
I
I
am?
was I was waiting for stupid Beena to say, but Donna, what the hell are you talking about? I'm stupid Beena. What are you talking about? Transcended and embraced and divinity. I'm stupid Beena. What the hell are you talking about, girl? You're the one who's got the power. You're the one who's exhibiting the magic. So Donna, I'm just trying to say the very same thing that you perceive about Beena, Beena perceives about you, and for me the same thing with both of you.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
No, no, it's
But
powerful. Go ahead.
this is something really amazing for me, Donna, because you are saying that. I always look at you, and I always just wish. I actually wish
Yes.
for myself that I could see that energy perspective. I always will wonder what is this, and I always feel I'm saying this with complete honesty that I always feel stupid when you talk about all these things. Okay, look at her. She can see things. She can articulate things about this aspects. I am just discussing basic normal things, but she look for me, Donna. You always come with an abstract view. Oh my God, you always inspires me, and somehow I feel uh, yes, in front of you, I feel stupid too.
Me
I
too.
was mentioning that. I was mentioning that, but I said, oh, Donna might feel a bit awkward. So that's why I didn't say that. But yes, in front of you, in comparison of your perspective, I always feel stupid.
Yeah, same here. And same with you, Beena. I feel stupid compared to you all the time.
No, but okay, you
and,
are
and
saying
and
that,
I
but,
bet you
but
Donna feels the same way. I'm
I
not just
do.
saying that. I'm not just saying that. Saying, wow, Beena gets it. She like, wow, she just like goes right to it.
me,
It's like, wow,
me,
wow.
okay.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to say that this is a
If,
profound thing that when we
okay,
look at others, that we see their magic and we don't see it in ourselves. This is part of our conception. Is to raise our own self-conception and to develop self-appreciation and a bit accuracy. At the same token, we always want to feel this way. Why? Because it makes us appreciate others, and we use others to continually pull ourselves up. So I don't fight it. I embrace it, and I go with it, and I enjoy it. Simple as that.
I
okay,
have the
Donna,
self
it,
appreciation. I think the difference for me is just I have a limiting belief that there's an end, that there's an arrival date. I think that's the crux of mine, of
Yeah.
my belief that does the comparison with other people like Eckhart Tolle or some other people like Sadhguru,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hmm,
different
Yeah.
people that seem to have been able to master their minds and they're
oh
in that
yes, oh yeah.
transcended state. I
Yeah.
feel like because of my knowledge of people like that, I feel like there's an arrival point, and you like literally live from a different level of consciousness.
Right.
And when I look at those people, I don't perceive them as being effective as living in this real world. I have a perception, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, of them like kind of struggling then once they've reached that arrival part to literally be amongst others in this
Yeah.
real world. So that's the crux of it for me. That's where I'm coming from, and I'm
Yes.
working on that.
Right. And this is powerful, and we leverage this. This is part of our self-conception. To say, okay, I'm going to think of myself as a spirit warrior. Initially, it is a potential spirit warrior. I know I'm not in it in its fullness, but I try, I pursue, I
But I don't
persist.
want to be. That's the crux of it.
You don't,
If it means that I have to be like them and not be able to operate in my real
exactly.
world, that is
Ex-
not something that I want.
Exactly. So, as a spirit warrior, in our conception of a spirit warrior, we are able to be appropriate in any situation,
And in the real world, and people
in the
won't look
real
at
world,
you
in
like,
any,
oh, I need to kneel before
in
you or something, because
any.
that's
No, no, shit
not
with
at
that.
all.
No. So, we are looking at practicality, at application, at usefulness, at value. As a spirit warrior, in our definition, we are able to be a most appropriate mom, and most appropriate employee, a most appropriate cricketer, whatever it is, in any situation. Yes, we can go and be spiritual too. We are able to function and be appropriate and be applicable and be strategic and sensible in any situation. If we need to be a child, we're playing in the kindergarten, we can be a child. It makes no
And
difference.
I can do that. That is me.
Exactly. Exactly. You can be mom, but we are looking to maximize and to be an impeccable mom. We are
I
looking to
don't
be
know
an,
many people that share that.
well,
And for me, that's where I feel as though
right.
I'm different because I have a desire and an aspiration to be the best version of myself and to
Of
be that
course.
divine
Right.
being.
So,
But I also want to be able to apply that in my real world.
yes,
And there's
Donna.
always been a
Yes.
hesitation that if I
Yes.
reach a certain point, I won't be able to do that.
No, no, no. So in some way, this idea has gotten to be a kind of a cockeyed idea.
I know.
Impeccability in the spirit warrior conceptions. We are saying, hey, I want to be a spirit warrior mom. I want to be a spirit warrior cricketer. I want to be able to take the fullness of myself and apply it in any detailed practical situation, because we are all about practicality. If we aren't able to function appropriately and fully and with maximum efficiency as our daily, day to day situations, then what's the point of it all? It just becomes stupid. You become this supposed, I don't know, Sadguru, whatever, and you become disconnected from the reality of life. You are in a bubble, and we are saying no. As spirit warriors, we aren't going to be bubble people.
But
We
all
are
those
going to be,
people say that. They
say what?
say that they say that. I mean, there's tons of people out
They
there.
say what?
They say that they don't do well in reality, that they're
Exactly,
sort of,
which is stupid. I'm saying you claiming you are something special, and yet you're saying you don't do well in regular world. Well, I'm sorry, but that's just to me stupid, and that's a deficiency of your entire system. So
well,
to me,
help
I'm
me
just saying,
me.
yeah. Uh,
I'm sorry. I know what you're
all I
saying.
wanted to say is that when they say that, I just disregard them and say, well, you just self-proving to me that your entire system is one that I do not wish to pursue. And yes, you may claim it has some kind of value to you and sensibility, but actually it's deficient. I'm sorry, but it's deficient.
They always say they've reached some type of inner bliss and total joy all the time
Yeah,
and
but
ecstasy, and they
it's
float around in
hollow.
the world.
It's
Okay,
hollow, Donna.
I know, but it's what it is, what is a limiting, and I'm aware of it. It's a
Yeah,
limiting belief because I've been exposed to it. It's a limiting belief for me because I've seen these people, because I've had one-on-one experience with these people.
right.
And the concept of being a divine being is one I aspire to, but I have not met anybody that they are a divine being truly encapsulating what that means, but they're still able to operate in the world. I
And
don't know of
and
anybody.
when
So
this,
not
yeah,
knowing anybody makes it a concept. I want to have that bubble of my physical self, seeing it
right,
with my own eyes. And so
exactly.
that's where the trust and the patience with the capital,
Yep,
and then
yep,
I'm aware of all
yep,
that. I'm
yep,
just throwing it out there. I'm just
yep.
being real.
Donna, you want to see it with your own eyes.
I'm just being it.
Yes,
I'm trying to be
exactly.
it.
I was just going to say, go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, you see it with your own
I'm
eyes.
trying.
Right, right. But this is the point of the wave impeccable. This is what I will keep trying to say. When you say you see these others, I'm sorry, but I do not. I do not see divine moms. I do not see divine cricketers. I do not see people who can embrace their fullness of being in the day to day. And
Well,
to
that's my aspiration.
same here. This is what a spirit warrior is. It is somebody who can combine spirit and warrior, who can combine the sublime and the mundane, and somebody who connects to the mourners in every single second of their life. They don't connect to the mourners when they go to church or when they go to the mountains or when they're meditating in a retreat or something. No, every single second we connect to our mourners. This is a spirit warrior. We are bringing spirit into our every single action. As a warrior, you can't say, oh, I'm going to have the fullness of myself just sometimes. No, in every single, you're always at battle, you're always at war. You need to be at your fullness all of the time. So this is what we are doing. So yeah, so that's why I'm saying, all these like Sadhgurus and that, they are limitations. I'm sorry, but to say, but in some way, it's bullshit.
Well, I
Because
think it's the paradigm shift that's happening. And I
yeah,
think I don't feel as though this is, I have nothing to back this up. It's just a feeling, a knowing
nice.
that that's where we're going. And it is so different than where a lot of people have been. There's those that are unaware, and there's a whole pocket of that who have not even, their awareness of this possibility is, they haven't, it's not even a concept. Then there are those that feel like they've arrived at it, that are going to be surprised to find out that they maybe haven't. And then
Yes, yes,
there's a shift of people that are bringing heaven to earth, and that's what they're here to do. And
right.
that shift, I haven't seen anybody that I can say, oh, Mary, for example, or Cher,
Yeah,
or Beena.
yeah.
You guys are as close as I see.
Exactly, 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 Donna. Because the way of impeccability is deeply, deeply, deeply an honest philosophy of perspective. So when you're saying you're Sadhguru and yes, I'm achieving bliss, but I'm sitting in my cave in the Himalayas achieving bliss. I'm sorry, but in my impeccability says, but this is limiting. What happens if you can't sit in that cave anymore, or you're dependent? It's a vulnerable thing. You are not actually truly empowered if you cannot be in bliss in the day-to-day crapola of the world. I'm sorry, it's a limitation. You're putting us
I hear you, but I'm just being honest. That's my
right,
block. And
right,
my eyes want to see it. And I know that I have to know, and I know that I have to trust myself, and I know I have to have
right,
patience.
right.
And
So
I'm
you'll
being
just
real.
have to see
That's
it in Beena. That's all. Oh, hey, Sherry. Hello.
Oh,
what?
hi.
Hello. Hello. You just have to see it in Beena, or others
Oh,
in
I
the way of
do.
impeccability.
I do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, Donna, if you just go through from the first Zoom session till now, and if you just listen to whatever I shared in like totally 100%, you will see that I always share the basic concept, because this is where I can explain, and the energy perspective and the broader perspectives and abstract view, I never go there. And my intuitive jumps, okay, it was like always basic, and it was you always, and it is you who always gives us a broader perspective and abstract view. So, and other thing is, okay, I'm being a bit I don't know, a bit not so good here, that I experienced Deepak Chopra's meditation, and
Mm-hmm.
I saw a few of his videos. And honestly, it is my personal view. Uh, for me, I feel way too much fake from him. This his energy, his whole personality. He's always smiling, keeping his voice very soft, very mellow, very low. It makes me feel so fake. Okay, he's so fake for me. For me,
Yeah.
he is like doing something visually and appearing visually spiritual. So it is something, not okay, a person could be like really intimidating kind of a personality, but he or she could be very spiritual. But for me, when Deepak talk in that voice, when Deepak always try to smile, it makes me even just get distracted from his perspectives, what he's sharing,
Yeah.
because for me it seems so fake,
It's an
so fake.
affectation, in other words.
Yes, and also, and the word is visually. Just
Yeah,
try to
yeah,
be visually spiritual. So I didn't get anything, but just because that I feel that he is faking all these
yeah,
things.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh,
So
it's a detriment.
yes, Sadhguru, yes, I like him because he is in few things. His perspective and his explanations are really good.
I think
But
so
yes,
too. I do too.
yeah, yes, and also, and he's quite natural, other than like in comparison to uh, Deepak, he is. But still there are few things which are not getting.
Right.
And also I becomes a bit cautious when it comes to YouTube videos, because they are just video clips, just part of the whole perspective, which is
Yes.
like kind of, oh my god, could be
Yes.
a totally wrong idea I
The
can get from that.
limitations. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I need to be, before making any idea about these
Right.
persons, I need to be there and just listening to them thoroughly, understanding,
Yeah.
reading and all these things.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
I can say that, okay, where they are and where I am, what I can get from them.
Right. Beena,
So
Donna,
yes.
could you, both of you, could you recap what we are doing? Put it in context to bring Sherry up to speed. Hello, Sherry. I'm so
Oh,
thrilled
hi,
that
good
you're
morning.
joining us. Hello, hello, hello. This is
Hello,
fantastic.
hello, but I don't see any face. I see your face, Leon.
Yes,
I can't
the
see.
Oh
Donna and
yes.
Beena don't have their cameras on, so no worries.
Oh, okay.
Yours is off
Hello,
also,
Sherry.
Okay.
so yeah,
I'm
you're
a
welcome to put it
tablet.
off. You just have to stay at my ugly face. So sorry.
Oh, okay. I'll stay on as long as I can.
Right,
I'm
right. So,
I'm on in my bed.
Donna and Bina are going to recap quickly, just to connect you to what we are doing, what we're about, because we went off on a little side tangent there. But so
Mhm.
just to fill Sherry in. Okay, go Donna. What we're doing, what are we doing, what we're about. Donna. Oh, I don't know what happened to Donna. I just
Okay.
wanted you to do a recap
Okay.
of where we're at. But Bina, go ahead.
Okay, Sherry, when we were reading our module, and it was module 3, and
From
in
the
that
Way of
module,
Impeccability program.
yes,
That
from the Way of Impeccability program, and during reading, I got some, like, okay, I stuck on the word self belief, and I asked self to elucidate it more, or to explain it more for me, having self belief and leveraging it, and it was not my thing. I just asked it, what about self belief, because I had a belief that I'm stupid, and when it comes to say, okay, I'm a spirit warrior in Way of Impeccability, through Way of Impeccability, so I said, no, it is kind of contradictory to my self belief which I had before, and I was just asking myself, oh, I'm a spirit warrior. So still just
one second.
ask me, and how it could be, when you feel stupid, it could be a ego thing, that okay, just calling myself stupid and playing smartly and asking for attention, and just giving margin, asking for myself margin to, okay, I'm a stupid, I didn't get these things, and it is kind of like avoiding responsibility. So and also that, yes, I could be, which I feel that I am in some aspect of my life. I am, but not like in totality. No, I'm not stupid at all. And we all are at some point. Okay, like I'm not good at math. I'm using your uh, analogy itself, because I'm also very bad at math. Actually, yes, I am. And I'm very bad with grammar, because I say that, okay, these tenses are not getting into my mind. That English do, does, and did it still bites me like a puppy.
But you're learning.
So
But you're learning.
yeah, but I'm learning. So
Right.
I am not really good with these
Right.
things. And during a discussion, that okay, one can have a belief, one can have a self-conception, not a belief, but yes, a self-conception about herself or himself, that yes, he is not good enough, he is stupid, she is stupid, she is not good enough, and she is lacking, and in some way, yes, I'm too smart, I'm too uh, appropriate in these things. So these all are self conceptions and self beliefs, and mostly we get it from outside, from other people's perspective, and uh, and the situations, and from other people's behavior and response to our things, and sometimes just by our own ignorance and laziness. Okay, I didn't pay much attention to, I didn't put effort and time and focus on anything to learn, and then I start calling myself, oh, I'm stupid.
So
So
the
it
key
is
that
it yeah, so it is not always from outside world. It's most like it is a kind of a 50-50 ratio for me, that 50% in cases it is from our own laziness, it is our own lack of, okay, competency to say, okay, to do things thoroughly and put time and effort. And it's just laziness. Okay, I call myself. So it is kind of avoiding responsibility also. So,
Yeah.
oh, I'm stupid. It's not getting into my mind. I'm not that type of person. And so, okay, 3 factors now about self-conception, self-beliefs. One is from other people's behavior and response, and actions, reactions, and social setup, and religious stuff, also a lot of things. And one is our own laziness, our own lack of competency, lack of dedication towards to learn anything. And the third one is just our ego part, that okay, we want to leverage, we want to give us ourselves a margin of okay, just by calling ourselves, oh, I'm just stupid, I can't learn, oh, I didn't get it because I'm stupid. So 3 factors
Why?
in 3
What
major
was the
factors
third,
in
Beena?
self. Ego.
Ego. Thank you.
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
we're
So,
about, our conversation is to take all of those and transform it into a transformative self-conception that allows us to grow and learn and be more, so that we aren't limited by our own legacy, our old self-conceptions, that we can transcend as our own self-definitions, which are limiting. These beliefs like, oh, I'm stupid. Yes, we say, I know I'm stupid, but I'm going to say, as a spirit warrior, whatever our new transformational self-conception is, we are saying, I can be more. I can be stupid and be more. I can be stupid, but I can also learn. So we are developing a self-conception that's open-ended, that isn't closed. And this is what what we are focused on right now. And we are going through all the different sessions and modules, but we are focused specifically right now on the self-conception one, because it is so transformative when we adopt a self-conception that is enabling, that is open, that is not limited. This is what the point of all of this is, right, Beena? Is to develop this self-conception that says that I am enough and I am also more.
I would
yes,
add
and
caution
Yeah?
to saying I am stupid. There are
To say
moments
I
where you
can
feel.
rather than I'm unable. We
say,
can't hear
Donna,
you.
please repeat it.
I would just I would just throw out caution
You need to
of
say it
making
again.
a statement, I am stupid.
So this is
I
what we're
just
about, Sherry. We're talking about self-conception, and to
Yes.
deliberately and specifically adopt a self-conception which enables us to connect to the more. It puts us on a path to more, that doesn't limit us. This is what we are looking to do. And so this is
Uh-huh.
where the point of self-belief came in. And we said to Beena, hey, the idea that you feel that, and you have this personal belief that I am stupid, rather than making it a limitation, we can say being aware that we are stupid. This
no.
becomes a now empowers us, because when we know we are stupid, we start to be strategic. We start to pay attention to awareness, and we start to leverage that to say, yes, I might be stupid, but it doesn't mean I can't learn. I just now need to be more strategic in how I learn. I just need to be more efficient in how I learn. I need to be more effective, and I just have to pay attention and to develop all my qualities like patience and discipline and impeccability. All of these qualities, they enable me to learn and grow despite being stupid. It's not a
I
limitation,
would like
but
to
it is a
offer
mechanism I
something
can
that's.
use to spur me to
Can you
more.
hear me?
So this is a big, big deal, this self-conception.
I can hear you,
Shift it
Donna.
to one
Why can't
which
he?
enables us rather than limits us.
Oh,
Doesn't
Sel is
change
not
the fact
listening to us.
I'm still stupid. I've always felt that I'm stupid all my life. Doesn't change the fact that I am stupid, because
What?
the universe, of course, we're all ridiculous idiots. But I can
Oh
leverage that
no.
to
Oh.
empower me, because they're saying, because I am
Ah.
stupid, I need to learn. I need to grow. I need to develop awareness. I need to develop perspective shifting. I need to develop a strategy, because these are the mechanisms which allow me to transcend the limitations of my stupidity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sel, can
I
you
Beena,
don't know
hear
about
me?
Sherry,
the
Donna,
words. I
anyone?
don't know about the word stupid though.
Can you
No,
hear
I'm not
me?
Uh,
hearing anybody.
Right.
oh, God. Uh,
Sherry, are you saying something? I wasn't hearing you.
Yes.
Wow,
Well,
that's really
I
wow.
have a limitation here. I don't
I
have
don't know if you
my
guys are
ear.
saying something. If you are, say it in, say something in chat so I can see. Wow, I don't know why I'm not
I
hearing you.
don't know. It's very hard. I don't have my headset here.
Mm.
I just happened to tune in, and I'm in a coffee shop without a headset. So all I was saying is I don't know about using the word stupid.
But not only that, saying I am
Yeah.
stupid.
Okay. I'll fix my
I
audio.
get
So you
everything
keep.
you're saying. I just don't know about using the word.
That's strange.
Okay, Sherry, this was just a term I used for myself because this was the self belief I had before coming to Way of Impeccability and meeting my other FB friends. Uh, so this was the idea, and it was still in my mind. And yes, sometimes it just pop up. Still now it pops up there. Yes, the word stupid is like really a harsh word to use, and Donna also didn't agree with that, but it was just that example I used because yes, I also have other self beliefs. Okay, like I'm really good at just communicating, but I am not. So okay, another false belief. I feel that I always make things very obvious, but this is not the case. Other people say, Beena, you just taking so many jumps. So,
Yeah.
so it was.
There's, it's not so much the word stupid, it's as it relates to the concept. I just
So Donna,
Can't hear you, Donna.
oh my god.
Donna, you're not clear.
There.
You're
Yeah.
not clear. Okay, now you
Okay,
can.
it's not the word stupid for me, it's how it applies to the concept. And anytime you say I am something, you're bringing it for me to
Yeah.
yourself as that's a total part of your being.
Yes.
You may behave, but you're not your behavior. You may be in a situation where you're unaware, and that creates a situation where you're feeling like you're behaving in a stupid manner, but you're
Oh
not
yes.
your
Okay.
behavior. So separating that out for me is the concept of
Yes.
leveraging it, because
Oh
in
yes. Oh yes.
acknowledging that you're not that and your behavior is not you,
Right.
but you're saying sometimes I get in a bubble of unawareness or sometimes that old behavior pops in, then for me that's when I can leverage it, when I accept that and I say, okay, well sometimes I do get in bubbles where that old voice is talking, and that is a part of me and I'm okay with that. So now I'm going to take that and shift it to a power of moving momentum forward to learn from that, so that in the future the likelihood of me responding versus reacting versus responding is less and less. I just hesitate as a caution to bring something on as being an ownership of you.
Yes.
And when you say I am stupid, for
Yes.
me that's what that feels like.
Yes. So Donna, you've gone, yes, I was deliberately using this I am
I know
stupid
you were.
as a limitation because precisely that. The precise wording is important. It isn't actually
Yes.
true. So I could say, I was stupid, yes. I'm less and less stupid, yes. So it's the precise wording of the self-conception is important. And this is what we're doing in this particular session here, is to say the nuanced precision of the language we use for our self-description is
Yes.
vitally important.
And that's why he
Honestly,
muted us so he could get his
yes,
point
exactly.
across.
So we have to shift it. And Beena, you can say, I was stupid. I'm less and less stupid, and that's true. But to say I am stupid, no, this is not actually honest anymore. So we leverage our self-honesty. Like Donna says, no, I'm not going to limit myself and lock myself into I am stupid because I'm going to announce it's a perpetual thing. And I'm going to make it true because I'm honest. So I can't say this anymore. I can say, yeah, I was stupid. I'm less and less stupid. Yes, I'm learning to be smarter. Okay, I'm on that process. It's an open-ended process. And this is the shift in our self-conception to not having ones which limit us to say, I am, and it's a limitation, to say, no, I can be more. I'm on the path to more. I'm not limited by my old self. So our new self-conception as a spirit warrior, as an agent of the universe, as a spirit explorer, as whatever you wish to think of yourself of, doesn't matter. But those new self-conceptions, they are transformative because they are open-ended and they are not locking us into legacy definitions of things we believed in the past. Like, I was stupid. That was, not am. I'm not anymore. I was. I'm less stupid maybe, but I'm still not stupid in the way I was before. Very big shift. So thank you, Donna, for bringing this up. It is a huge point, a huge, huge, huge point. I am are two of the most powerful words in any language. Just I am, super powerful. So we have to know this. There's a whole session on it later on where we get into this. To say, hey, we've got to transcend these saying, keep saying, I am this, and the limitations. No, you lock yourself in. I don't want to be locked in, and neither do you, right, Beena? So even
Oh
though
yes.
I am stupid, I was using it for this precise deliberative effect to say, no, it doesn't resonate, it doesn't ring true. I can say I'm less and less stupid. This I can say honestly, but I cannot honestly say I am stupid in the way I used to be. No, can't say that anymore. And I don't wish to either, like Donna said, because if I keep saying that, I'm going to make it true.
Yes, yes, you're right. And the reason why I shared that, it is because this was the exact word at that time. This was
Yes,
the exact word,
at
and I was
that
calling myself.
time.
And
At, yeah,
yes, and still sometimes it pops up in my mind. Oh, Beena, you're too
yeah,
stupid. So
yeah,
it is it. I
right,
have to confess that. I have to accept that. Yes, it still
right.
pops up. And
It
okay,
is a part
I'll
of
be
you.
more cautious. Yes. So I'll be more cautious of using this word and
Yes, yes,
repeating it, because
yes,
Donna, you're absolutely right, and Sherry, you also you said that yes, it is not a word to feel connected with at all in any
right,
situation.
right,
Yes,
right,
I agree.
right.
I agree.
To be aware that we have limitations, and it's not that it is a limitation. It is simply we're going to shift it to saying, hey, you know what? I was stupid, but it's not a limitation. It just means I need to learn. So we transform it into power to say, I need to learn. Why? Because I was stupid or ignorant. Doesn't mean I'm incapable of learning. No, it just means I hadn't yet learned. That's an acknowledgement of the reality and the truth of the past. But I also now say, and we look at this other powerful term in our dictionary of power, which is the profound magic of focusing on progression. In this context now, when we are looking at our self-conception, I can say, oh, you know what? I am somebody who has progressed and is progressing on my path of learning and growing and personal development. I am developing. I am progressing. So, yes, I might have been stupid in the past, but since I've progressed, I'm less stupid or maybe smarter. Either way, it doesn't matter. I'm progressing. This is the point. So whenever we say I am, and it's not an I am progressing, when it becomes a limitation, we're going to say, no, 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 no. I can't say I am stupid. It's not true because I've progressed. So it's not accurate anymore. All I can say is I am progressing. How stupid or how clever I am is totally irrelevant. The key factor is I am progressing. And this is all we need to focus on. The fact that we can progress because we have progressed. And because we can progress and we have progressed, we know we are going to progress even more. And we keep that momentum to say, hey, that's what I am. I'm a progression. I have progressed, I can progress, and I will progress because I insist on it. I make effort to do so. I'm continually learning and growing and thinking and strategizing and expanding my awareness and paying attention and doing all of these things, which is, whatever I am about, my way of impeccability, my spiritual path, whatever you call it, doesn't matter. It is progression. This is a powerful, powerful thing that we say. Whenever we start to say, I am, say, whoa, 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 I am progression. If you want to say one I am, that's it. That's it. I am progression. Yeah.
Yes.
Donna, Sherry, how does that resonate with you guys?
Yes.
That sounds good. For me personally, I like more practical application. I think a lot of this, for me, a lot of this keeps it up in the mental plane,
No,
and
no, no,
I
no.
like to,
We are being practical, Sherry. It isn't in the
yeah,
mental plane. It is a precisely about being practical in the day to day. I'm
yeah,
progressing
well,
in
that's
my
what I
daily
like to
things.
talk about more is the practical in the day to day,
Right.
when you wake up in the morning and the patterns that you're facing and how to break the
Yes,
patterns.
exactly.
This is more of what I like to talk about because this is what I'm working on right now,
Right,
you know.
right,
I mean, it's happening big time in my arena.
right.
I mean, major, major.
Right, right. So, in order to translate this, in order to have an effect in our day to day practicality, shifting this understanding from the limitations of, for instance, saying I am stupid. Well, that just blocks you from being more sensible, more strategic, more open in dealing with the day to day. For instance, dealing with a contractor, just for argument's sake, right? So when I say I am a progression, say in the past I used to struggle dealing with them, but hey, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm progressing. I'm able to deal with the contractor or the teacher or the boss. I'm able to deal with them a little better every day. Every day it
Mhm.
gets a little better. It's progression. So this is what enables us to deal with the day-to-day stuff more effectively, more efficiently, more smoothly, more appropriately. So it is focusing on that progression leverages us to be able to be more effective in the day-to-day. It's all about the day-to-day, the minute to minute, the second by second. This is what we are doing precisely, yes. But we have to understand, Sherry, that if we don't have that overall abstract conception, it now becomes a limitation because otherwise we learn specific things and we don't learn the combining factor that leverages in all of them. So when we see the abstract thing that leverages us, then we can apply it to any situation, not just the precise specifics. It's like, for instance, the example somebody learned to drive a Ford and they got into a Chevy and they couldn't drive it. They said, well, I don't know how to drive a Chevy. I learned to drive a Ford. So this is a danger that we have to say. We want to learn to drive vehicles in the same way. We want to learn to be effective in any situation because we understand the abstract of what's involved in that, which is openness, learning, fluidity, and having confidence, stuff like that. So yeah, it seems like it's abstract and intellectual, but it absolutely isn't. It is about profound practicality.
Okay, I want to add something. What Donna mentioned here, that using these words again and again, it's kind of a confirmation and making it imprint in our
Right,
mind. It
right.
is also, it is because what I understand that it is because we have a specific association with the words we use. Like, okay, whenever I will repeat this word, stupid, it reminds me and it connects me to the all the
Yes,
situations I had in my past where I
exactly.
feel stupid, where
Right.
I was feeling stupid. So to change the word, to change our vocabulary, it is really
Yes,
empowering. This is why Donna mentioned it and just
yes,
remind me
yes,
to use other words,
yes.
because and it is quite practical that okay, we have association with the words, with the vocabulary.
Right,
So
right,
using the new words is one reason is to disconnect from the old previous
right,
inappropriate associations, and
right,
also to feel to make new uh, associations also.
right.
And one more thing is that it is also about breaking the old habit patterns, because I
Yes,
am in habit to use that word again and again.
right,
And so okay, changing this is will leverage me to to feel empowered. Oh, I can, because I'm deliberately doing that. So this feeling of empowerment is also a leverage for me to get out of that mindset and that mind phase also.
right.
So Donna, you mentioned it. Okay, I will. Yes, you're right, and I will just keep reminding myself to not use. So it is for me, Sherry. I'm just sharing what I got from this. That it is quite practical, that choosing the word and using the appropriate word and new words is like resetting or setting a new program in our mind. And by being able to do that, it also automatically uh, start operating a new program in our mind that yes, we can. So this
Yeah,
empowerment that okay, we can,
exactly.
I can. So it is like a multifaceted benefits in that. It is not just a single concept. Okay, this word feels inappropriate.
Yeah,
No, it
yeah,
is not just
right.
as simple. It is a multi-layered concept behind just using the appropriate word.
And it is profoundly practical. Beena, in
Yes.
your day-to-day practicality, just making roti, going to arts council, doing whatever, going on the internet, this shift from your this idea of this word stupidity being part of your thing to saying, oh, you know what, when I unhook from saying I am stupid, now I say, oh, I can learn, which means I feel empowered. Now, any situation you go into, that shift has now taken you out of this bubble of feeling limited and feeling blocked and feeling unable to saying, oh, I can, I could, I can learn. Now that in practical terms, this opens you up to in the detailed little tiny things of practicality when you encounter something new on the internet or some new thing in your daily world. In any tiny interaction in your day-to-day, minute by minute, you have now enabled yourself and you to be more and to transcend the limitations of feeling I'm stupid, which limited and blocked you from practical application and usefulness and action and being able to do stuff. Aren't limited as much as you were before. So there's a
Yeah. So
profound practical effect to this. Yes.
yeah. So what Donna shared here, just by emphasizing on using other words other than that stupid word,
Yes.
is
Exactly.
not just a simple idea. It is a multi-layered
Yeah.
concept, and it connects many concepts from way of impeccability together,
Right.
like
Right.
breaking habits
Right.
and breaking old
Right.
patterns
Exactly.
and making
Exactly.
new habit, making new association.
Exactly.
So it
Exactly.
involves habit management and
Yes, but I'm connecting it to practicality for Sherry. That's the thing.
Mhm.
Yes, we are breaking habits, but breaking habits is profoundly practical.
Yeah, this
It
is what I was
applies
saying.
in our
Yeah.
second to second. I'm just making that specific connectivity, Beena, to say, hey, this is practical. Because when I go about my just making lunch or just, sitting in the office, whatever I'm doing, when I'm free from the habits of before, the habits which limit me, the habits of thinking I'm stupid, this one simple shift I'm doing and I'm looking from that word, the practical effects are phenomenal, are profound, they are huge. It's a very big deal practically. Yeah, Bina? It's practical,
Oh,
right?
yes, it is. Yes, for me it is. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sherry, does that make sense where we're saying now? Yes, we're talking
Yeah,
abstract
yeah,
concepts.
that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
connecting it
Like
to the
today, I'm
practical.
going to be, I'm taking the week off and I'm breaking my patterns, by
Yes.
doing different things. I do find myself at the same coffee shop, but I don't like the other one. But I'm
Ah,
looking at things to be doing this week that will be out of my comfort zone.
excellent, excellent,
And
excellent.
I
So you are
started with
shifting.
yesterday. It's always in my comfort zone to be moving constantly, and that's my comfort zone, is to be always on the go. And yesterday I
Right.
broke the pattern by saying, I'm just going to sit here the whole day and just be and allow myself to be.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Doer. I'm a constant doer, 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 doer,
You
doer.
see, right there, that's what we're talking about. I
Yeah,
am a constant doer. To shift that
yeah.
to say, oh, I am. You mean you were? The fact that today you could not do and you could do something different means that that
Yeah,
conception isn't quite so
yesterday I was,
accurate.
yeah, yesterday I was in the art of being, and today I want to be a combination of both.
Exactly. So, as
That's what I
we are
feel like.
talking about
A
developing a
balance.
self conception that includes this range of capabilities of doing, of practical application, to rather than have an idea of ourselves, I am a doer, I am a this, I am a that, to say, no, I am open, I can do anything. And if we have
Yeah,
this self conception of one that's open to say, okay, like a spirit warrior, as a spirit warrior, I can do anything. So, whatever your self conception is, to say, I can do anything. Shift it to away from those limitations of conception that says, I am a this, I am a that. All of those are limitations. And that's what you're
uh-huh.
doing. When you look at it in the overall, yes, okay, you're focusing on the precise thing. But when we just zoom out a little bit, what you're also doing, you are changing your conception of self. The conception of what Sherry is, how you define it, how you conceive of it, it's changed. You're somebody now who can not only just do, but you can just be. It's a profound shift in your self-conception, and it has profound practical benefits and consequences. Yes?
Yeah,
Yeah. So when we come from the top down, it's not just at the top. When we understand that those top level conceptions, they translate all the way through to the bottom. And then we see, oh, when we change the top, it affects everything, not just a specific one time thing. No, but it affects our entire life. When we change our self conception, like in this case, from being a doer to a beer, and to be both, and to be whatever is appropriate, I'm capable of being more than what I was. That is a profound, profound self-conception that has incredible practical benefits. Because right now, as Sherry, you are saying pretty much, well, you know what? I can be anything. I'm not limited to all of these ideas of my past. They limited me. I don't want to be limited anymore, right, Sherry? You don't want to be
Yeah.
limited anymore.
Well, oh my gosh, there's so much that's happening now. I can hardly,
Exactly.
I just can hardly contain everything that's transformed in my life in the last 2 weeks. I can't even
Yes.
begin to put it
Yes.
into
Yes.
words.
Yes. So you are the old Sherry. It's like the new Sherry, the Sherry of magic, the Sherry of wonder, the Sherry of learning, the Sherry of growth, the Sherry of openness, the Sherry of change, the Sherry of progression. It's like, whoa, suddenly there's a new self conception, which is the Sherry of openness, the Sherry of progression, of change, of magic. It's like, man, you always were magical, but now you're saying, you know what? I can change, I can shift, I can be things that I didn't really conceive of myself to be, but of course I can be it. I was just limited by these ideas of self. So I need to unhook from those, throw them away, and say, hey, I can be anything. End of story.
Well, it's like I went to the library before I left town, and I pulled out. Before I went to the library, I just put out to my spirit guides or the universe. I said, when I go pick my CDs to watch movies, I would like to pick ones that have some inspiration. So
Ah,
Tom and I are watching movies. We're looking at the movies I picked. They kind of just fell out onto my lap when I was
nice,
in the
nice, nice,
library.
nice, nice.
And I observed that 2 of the movies were about people that were backpacking into the wilderness. And I thought, what are the chances that of all the subject matters, that 2 of the movies would be about backpacking into the wilderness? I
Which you
said,
do a lot of. Yeah.
well, I haven't. I haven't been. No, I
Yeah.
haven't
Well, in
been.
the past, you've done a lot of, I mean,
In
yeah.
the past, I've done a lot of that. And I'm
Yeah.
looking at that and said, what is the synchronicity that out of 5 movies, 2 of them would be about backpacking. In the whole library of all the subject matters that are possible, that I would pick those 2. And it was like I'm taking it as a sign,
Magic.
as a green light to say, hey, where are my
Yes.
backpacking friends? You know.
Yes. Go backpacking. Go backpacking. There you go. There you go. Can you and Tom go?
He said he is well. He's open to going. He has COPD,
Yeah.
but here again, we're seeing the stem cell doctor this week, and that should give him some more energy. And he already said he would go with me. And
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I have a friend down in Cottonwood that said she would go. So
There you go.
I have other friends that are just too chicken to go. They won't go.
Well, maybe you need to make new friends that will go.
Well, that's exactly it. I'm looking at, what new friends do I have that are not afraid of the wilderness,
There you go. There you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Maybe there's
I'm
people
gonna,
right there next to you in wherever you're at now. Just, you'll
where
be
I am,
surprised.
no, no, as I look out there, it doesn't feel like this is, no, they're
Yeah,
not
well,
here.
open the door, make space for it.
Yeah,
Create
making
space for them to
space.
come.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yes, I will.
yeah.
Oh,
Wow, wow, powerful, powerful. When we shift our self-conception, every single thing is affected by our self-conception. It translates into every single second and minute of our day, of our being, of our doing, how we conceive of ourselves. It is one of the most practically affecting things we can do to shift what we do minute and second to second, how we conceive of ourselves. It is profound. It affects absolutely everything. It's a huge, huge deal. A huge deal. Huge deal. Okay. So, Sherry, we're on a project, and the project that we're on, the bigger project, is to go through all of the modules and sessions of the Way of Impeccability program. And we're on, I think we're on
3.
module 3. So we're going to continue and get back to this because we're on a project here, and we're doing something. So we'll just continue. Yes, we went off on a tangent because it was relevant and purpose and pertinent. And this is also part of what we do when something comes up and it really is important. We stop and we pay attention to it. And this is why we are doing this, for precisely this reason, So Beena's point where she said, oh, this point of the stupidity thing, it was a big deal. And now that we've gotten into it, we've transcended it, we've leveraged it, we've dealt with it, and we can move on. That's a thing of the past. It's thrown out, and we're moving on. So we're going to continue with reading through the modules because we are looking to specifically do these fairly quickly, to not pay attention to what we know and but to pay attention to what's new and say, oh, you know what, I don't remember this, or something that comes up like this case with Beena, something that bubbles up to the surface, and then we discuss that. So we'll just continue with this reading because we are on a mission a little bit. We have a project in hand. Okay, so to continue reading. Self-conception, we're still on the self-conception session. We know this ongoing growth process is one which requires effort, vigilance, diligence, and attention. We connect back to the warrior concept because those are the qualities of a spirit warrior. Those are all qualities a spirit warrior needs, in addition to the connection of being engaged in a worthy challenge, one which connects to those connotations and perceptions of a warrior as an honorable and noble spirit. So we want to keep this in mind all the time, right? Leverage that connectivity to being an honorable and a noble spirit. Okay, I think I skipped one here. Yeah, which brings us to a personal description which we feel does meet our criteria, spirit warrior. Now, we missed some of the previous things, Sherry, but we're just utilizing this concept of spirit warrior as an example of a particular self-conception that can transform us to connect us to more, that isn't a limiting self-conception. So spirit rather than spiritual, as in a warrior who not only has spirit, but is fighting for spirit, their own, and spirit at large. The implication here is that of an ongoing process, and as long as one is in that process, one is a warrior. It is a subtle, nuanced difference, but to call oneself a warrior just by itself implies one is up to some standard. But but to say we're in a fight for something means we can say we're a warrior in that regard. The degree of warrioriness isn't an issue any longer, only that we're in a fight. And here we are saying earlier, we said we're in a fight with ignorance, we're in a fight with habit, we're in a fight with unawareness, we're in a fight with limitations of conception and all such stuff, right? So we're in a fight with all of the nonsense of the world, as it were, our own nonsense. A term like spirit warrior not only satisfies our honesty and integrity and comfort with where we are at in terms of how much of a warrior we are, but also has that needed soul romance which motivates and energizes. To be a warrior for something like spirit, our own, others, and spirit itself is a worthy, honorable, and noble endeavor we are motivated to associate with. Thus, self leveraging ourselves and providing that much needed purpose, which provides direction, meaning, and joy to our lives and keeps us on that deep and true path we so crave. That deliberate way of living we seek, which is the way of impeccability. And here again, Sherry, we are using spirit warrior as an example. Whatever one's own, you can say, I'm a divine being, I'm a magic being, I'm an adventurer, I'm an explorer. It doesn't matter what your self-conception is. What matters is that it is something that you deeply resonate with, and that it is something that leverages you to more. That's open-ended. It's not limiting. So it gives you that joy, that purpose, and puts you on a path of deliberate living. This is the point of this self-conception. Its purpose is to leverage us into practically in the day-to-day, second to second, being more every single second of our lives, right? And that's the whole point of the entire way of impeccability. It is to get to deliberate living, because when we're living deliberately, we are leveraged into more. Our whole lives are transformed when we live deliberately. It's incredibly empowering.
On that note, I'm going to go because I have
Okay.
some deliberate living to do today.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I mean, if there's one thing that can change us in every single second, it is to live deliberately. I love that. I love that, Sherry. All right, brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
so pleased you
I
came
have
and
a
joined
friend
us.
that's practically waiting for me so that we can deliberately create some magic today.
Yes,
So I'm going to
yes,
go.
yes. Ah, that is so
I got to
phenomenal.
put it into
Oh, I love that.
practical application. If I
Exactly.
keep it spinning
exactly.
around in my head. It ain't a happening here.
Exactly. Without practical application, it's all meaningless. Yes, 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 yes.
All right, I'm going to go see what the
Okay.
city brings, what nature brings. I'm not quite
Fantastic.
sure.
Fantastic.
I
So,
don't.
so
Okay.
when you come on
Okay.
in the mornings, we typically here in the mornings. So come join us again. We love it.
Oh,
It's
in the
fantastic.
mornings. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
all right. So I will see
Enjoy.
what comes my way today.
Enjoy.
Mhm.
Enjoy. Let us know next time. Let us know next time.
All
Fantastic.
right.
All right. Bye
Thank
bye,
you.
Sherry. Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Chef.
Bye.
Thank you,
Fantastic.
Chef.
Ah, that was
Bye.
magical. That's
Bye.
magical.
Bye.
Bye bye. All right.
Bye.
In session one, we'll be examining more personal conception terms in the live takeaway session, like agent of the universe, spirit adventurer, warrior explorer, warrior philosopher. So all of this, I'm not sure for you, Donna, for you, Beena, which, for me, I have multiple self-conceptions. Sometimes I think of myself as an elucidator, or as a practical personal philosopher, or as an aspirant, or as a new noble. I have a bunch of them. They all apply. I do like Spirit Warrior in general as an overall one. It's really powerful. Life Detective, of course, yes, it's a very powerful one for me too. So I'm curious to hear
Leanne,
this.
how do I close out here?
Just say end meeting.
I can't find it.
I think you have.
Oh,
Go ahead, Bina.
I have the Zoom button and it says, I'm on where it says back to meeting, sign in, sign up, or back to meeting. So I'm into back. Oh, I can hit leave, right?
Leave. Yes.
yes. Yes.
They're not end meeting. It's leave. That's right. On the phone, it's leave. I forgot that. So I'm keen to
This
hear
is what I
from
was saying.
from you, Bina, and you, Donna, both of you. Which conceptions, just the precise terminology, resonate with you personally? How a new transformative self-conception. What are those terms for you? You don't have to share, of course. Maybe it's too private, but if you want to, I'm keen to hear. This would be cool. Talk some. I'm keen to hear.
Okay. Okay. For me, if I can now, if I say that, it's still it is a learner. I am a learner, and I feel confident to accept that, and I feel uh, comfortable to accept that. Yes, I am a learner.
Ooh, I like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, so, you can say that okay, I'm a power learner because I am deliberately learning and putting effort in that. So okay, yes, I'm a learner.
Power learner. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, Donna. I think Donna is his divine being.
Not
I,
really.
I don't want to. I don't want to assume, but I'm just going to add it to the list here.
It's really not.
Okay, cool, cool.
Um, I've
I'm
thought a lot about this. I had a really hard time when we did this a long time
on hear
ago.
you, Donna.
Oh, I've given this quite a bit of thought. A deliberate life adventure.
Wow.
I like the term adventure, even though I can't say it properly.
Adventurer. Yeah, yeah.
uh, see, I'm so goofy sometimes. I accept that about
It's
myself,
okay.
you know.
Yeah. So spirited.
But because freedom is so important to me, and like life is just such an adventure, and it's so much fun. So that resonates with me, and being deliberate now, if I have that as part of a self concept, it'll kind of be a more of a reminder, more of an opportunity to have it be. It'll be right in front of me a lot.
So
So that's kind of cool.
freedom adventurer,
No, deliberate life adventurer.
deliberate life
Wow.
adventurer. Ooh, I like this. I'm gonna add it in here. See, I like any every time
It's
I
just
come to these, I add them in.
it's just kind of taking some of the words from the other ones and combining them as
I love
well.
it. I love it. Deliberate life adventurer. Deliberate life adventurer. Oh, that's fantastic. And I want to hyphenate it all. Yeah, there we go. It's one concept. It's a deliberate life adventurer. Ah, I love that. I love that.
In this
I love
moment, that resonates.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. In this moment, that resonates. In this moment, that resonates. Yes, they change, and we are open. We can use anything. That's the magic of it. In this moment, it resonates. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. Okay, let's go to the next one. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I love that. I just love that. It's loading. I'm just waiting.
Did
So I
that
like
movie story? Did that movie story sound familiar to you?
that. That is
Sherry's movie story. Did it sound familiar?
the movie. Oh, of the synchronicity of finding the appropriate movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the abstract of it, yeah, yeah, and not the specifics necessarily, but you found movies of that were relevant to you. Yes.
Yeah, a long time ago we talked about that when we were first starting, and we were talking about synchronicity and anomalies and how I would go to the library and they would literally sort of shine, like have a different appearance, and I'd pick them out. And
Right,
that,
right. Yes, yes,
remember?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it was
Now I
the
remember.
exact
Yeah,
same story.
that's
I was
amazing to me.
giggling.
No.
That's amazing to me. And you always got power out of those things that jumped at you, that connected. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
They were very relevant in that moment and
yeah,
gave me
yeah,
answers often.
yeah, yeah. So I wanted to just say one thing that was important, and that I made an effort to do. I did interrupt a little bit with Sherry, but she has a conception, a belief that, oh, what we're talking about is all intellectual, it's not practical. And I wanted to nix that because she's mentioned it a couple of times before. And it's a limiting belief. It's not actually accurate. So I wanted to unhook her to say, it may seem that way, but actually we are about profound practicality, right? She just didn't see how what we were doing, which sounds, in initial perception, sounds maybe intellectual, but of course you and I and all three of us, we know that, hey, we're not about intellectual stuff. We're all about profound practicality. But just hearing it, it sounded that way to her, and she was kind of stuck on that perception of what it sounded like, not what it actually is. So I needed to make an effort to break that association, that assumption, to say, no, 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 we're about profoundness, and we need to understand that the abstract, the overview, what seems intellectual in the way we do it, is actually profoundly practical
The
because we
way
make that effort to connect it. Yes.
the way that shifted for me is when we're doing the modules and actually doing them like we are now, and then taking that concept and applying it in daily life. So maybe if she goes through the modules and she actually takes the concepts and applies it, because I understand exactly what she's saying, and I was
Right.
there. I'm
Right.
not there now, but I was there.
Yeah.
And for me, that helped shift it.
Oh yeah.
Because I could hear you say whatever you wanted to say, and you could say it from 10 different directions. But until I applied it to a place that mattered to me, it didn't shift.
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. I don't know if Sherry will actually go and do the modules. She's just connecting because she's sort of in a space where she's hearing it and she's gradually moving into it. But she isn't specifically signed up for the program. She's just associating with me indirectly because of me helping her with her project, and she's hearing the smallness come, and so she's just easing into it right now. But yeah, maybe over time we'll see. We'll see.
Well, there's some kind of connection there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. She wants them all, but sometimes it takes a little time to ease into that and to unhook from your legacy perception of self, which she's been doing things, spiritual. She has a card deck and she speaks about the things, but that practical application point that's been missing somewhat. So it's a shift. So it'll take a little time to shift that. So just saying, just interesting how it connects. That point of the intellectualism, it's actually a point that applies to Sherry personally, not so much to us. Just
Oh, no, it applies to me as well.
why? But I mean, in what we are doing here now, not to you personally, but I mean, in what we are doing. She came and heard our discussion, and she's saying, "Oh, it's all intellectual." She mentioned this before twice already, but it's not actually. It's actually about practicality. It just seems to be all intellectual. It definitely isn't, right?
That's what I meant.
Okay. Okay. Exemplification of being, perspectives and insights into being a spirit warrior or a uh, a deliberate life adventurer or a power learner. Yeah, can be either way. I'm just using spirit warrior here because I don't know what in each and every person's individual self-conception is. but it applies equally to a deliberate life adventurer or to a power learner. And I feel that man, I love those because I feel a resonance with them too. So I love that. So, okay. Life panic is a lack of trust, which is a lack of self trust, which is a lack of self confidence and self assuredness, resulting in lack of joy and unempowers us. So, yeah, we don't want to have life panic.
We don't want, but we do have sometimes.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So, we're going to be probably looking at this in some way. Let's see. Self trust, self confidence, and self assuredness are founded on what? On knowing everything? Obviously not. Then on what?
Okay, just a sec. Go back, please.
Yeah, sure. Self trust, self confidence, and self assuredness are founded on what? On knowing everything? Obviously not. Then on what? In other words, we can be stupid and have self trust and self confidence and self assuredness and be honest too. So they're not founded on intelligence or intellectualism or whatever. So what is it founded on if it's not founded on knowing everything? Sorry, Donna.
Thank you.
What? Yeah. Okay.
I don't have any idea for that.
Now, well, we're going to figure it out now. They're all rooted
Okay.
on the reliance on our ability to do, adjust, figure out, be appropriate, be sensible, to adventure, to learn, on our sobriety, our patience, our humility, our energy, and our ability to learn, on our trust in our intent to goodness, our unrelenting positivity, our perpetual awareness, and of course, our indisputable impeccability.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, but still, in any one of those is enough. Doesn't have to be all of them, right? Just our willingness to learn, right? Let's go back here and say, okay, we want self-trust, self-confidence, and self-assuredness. We can develop and have self-trust, self-confidence, and self-assuredness based on one concept only. The concept that I have learned, which means I can learn. On the concept, thus, of progression. I am progressing. Therefore, I can have some self trust in that. I can have some self confidence. I am progressing. That gives me self confidence. I have a self assuredness. Why? Because I am progressing. I have progressed, which means I can and will progress. So, all of these can be just founded on one conception, which is progression. And when I look at my progression, I say, what is my progression comprised of? Oh, I'm progressing in learning to be more appropriate. I'm learning how to do. I'm learning to acquire the ability to do more and more. I'm learning to be more sensible. I'm learning to be more sobriety, or I'm attaining sobriety or moving towards sobriety. I'm developing patience little by little, more and more. My humility. Yes, of course, I'm humble. I know that I don't know. This is my humility. And I embrace that I don't know. This gives me power to embrace my vulnerabilities, to embrace that I don't know. This is the power of humility, keeps us real. Our energy, yes, I'm energized. I want to learn because I know I need to learn, but also I get energy from the fact that I have learned. I am learning. I am progressing. And therefore, I know, I can prove to myself by looking at my progression that I do possess an ability to learn. This gives me some self trust. I can trust that I can learn. Why? Because I have learned. Yeah. I'm a self-assured in this. Why? Because I know it is possible for me to learn. So, and I trust my intent to goodness. I have to learn because it's part of my goodness. My unrelenting positivity. I have to be positive. I know I can be positive. Okay, I'm not necessarily always unrelenting, but I try to be unrelenting. And in that, I get some power. And this adds to my self-trust. Right? And our perpetual awareness. Yes, it's a perpetual ongoing thing to keep developing and expanding our awareness. But are you, Donna, are you, Beena, more aware now than you used to be?
Yes.
Beena?
Yes.
Yes, I am more aware than I was. My awareness, thus, is progressing. Yes?
Yes.
Ah, that's huge. Does that add to your self trust? Does that add to your self confidence? Does that add to your self assurance? Hell yes, it does for me. I can say, wow, I can celebrate. God dang it. I used to be such a bubble of awareness when I first come onto as a child, and I clicked onto this thing of awareness. Oh my goodness, what a bubble I was in. And I kept going back into those bubbles. Despite making an effort to get out of them, I kept getting caught in them. Now it's less and less and less. I definitely am progressing when it comes to awareness. Yes, absolutely. This is a huge thing for me. This is huge. Same with impeccability. Man, I always used to struggle with that. Now I feel it more and more and more. And it gives me trust. It gives me hope. It gives me confidence. And it gives me self assuredness that I can progress. I am progressing. And therefore, I will progress. It is all three. I have, I
Yes.
can, I will. That gives me
Yes.
much self assurance. I will progress. I will learn. I will expand. I will develop. I will explore. I will adventure. Yes. And it is an adventure, this exploration into the progression. Yes. The
Yeah.
celebration of progression. It is magical. It makes things into a struggle. It transforms it from struggle to adventure.
Oh, yes. And the spirit adventurer, explorer, adventurer.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes, yes. But as an adventurer, as an explorer, yes, we are exploring into spirit. But of course, we are doing so through the real world. We are exploring the practicality. As an adventurer, you need to be profoundly connected to each and every footfall, that every step that you take. You don't know if you're going to be stepping on a snake or a snare or a strap or a hole in the ground or God knows whatever. You need to be acutely aware of your intimate moment to moment, second to second, practical application of your connectivity to the world around you. If we lose that practical connectivity, we lose connection to spirit because spirit is in every grain of sand, every leaf, every flower, every animal, every breath. Spirit is in everything. It is not something separate. Practical physicality, it's not separate from spirit. It is spirit. This is important to remember. It's not like we're spiritual warriors. It means we're disconnected from the practical physicality. No, spirit is in every single little thing. It's in the computer. It's in the phone. It's in the coffee. It's in the environment. It's in every single thing. Isn't the practical physicality a manifestation of spirit in some way or another, Donna?
Yes.
There you go. It's not two separate things. When we understand this, when we really, really connect to seeing spirit in every single mundanity, then we see the sublime in the mundane. Now we are transformed. Now we get to magic. Now we are truly, truly, truly in the grand adventure. Yeah? Does that resonate? Does that make sense? Does that connect? I mean, it does for me. When I see that
Oh, yes.
every single tiny little physical thing, it is actually a manifestation and a representation of spirit. Spirit is in every single thing. So when I'm a spirit warrior, gosh buddy, well, this means that I am profoundly, intensely, physically practical. Yeah.
Yes.
Anna?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to make sure that I'm not just saying this for me alone. I'm sharing what to me is just a self-evident sensibility. It's like a duh moment. So yeah, okay, I was making a duh moment. It's like, well, duh. I mean, yeah, I was hoping you guys would say, well, duh, because it was a duh thing. It's like when we think about it, but we don't always connect to those duhs. With all of this, we might say, but sometimes I just don't know, and there's not always time to figure out to learn. Then what? Oh, what's going on here? Oh, that's when we bring out capital T trust, the big guns. That's what. Because that trust is also a trust in our personal power. The trust will make things work out good, regardless of not knowing how. This is the profound trust of an adventurer and of a power learner. We trust that we can, even if we don't know how. We trust that we can. Yeah. How
Yeah.
can you be an adventurer without capital T trust? You cannot. How can you be a power learner without capital T trust? You cannot. Trusting our personal power, no matter how small it may be, is part of our impeccability. Because at root, impeccability is the best use of energy. This is the core of our way of being, of living as spirit warriors, as living as power learners, as living as deliberate uh, adventurers, life adventurers. As deliberate, that's the point here, is deliberate. It's power in that deliberation. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Impeccability demands throwing out any petty, inappropriate, ego, and emotional considerations. Brackets, the word stupid. Right?
Mhm.
Gotta throw them out. Gotta throw them out. Those are petty considerations which don't apply. Yes, we are realistic, but we can't cling to those things. We have other weapons and shields, those of energy and intent, power, sobriety, trust, awareness, and our ultimate power, weapon, and shield, joy. We cannot forget this. That is why that that word adventurer is so profound and also deliberate. Because an adventurer is one who is deliberately venturing into the unknown, into being lost, into what not knowing. But they are doing so, and because they are doing so with joy, it transforms struggle into adventure. It transforms being lost into adventure. It is that deliberation of the embracing of joy which makes the difference between being an adventurer and not being an adventurer, or being a non-adventure. And same with learning. What transforms it into power is the deliberation and the deliberate connectivity to joy. We cannot, or it's difficult to gain power without joy. It's a struggle. Why? But when we add joy to our deliberateness, now we get to power, we get to adventure, we get to magic. So this deliberation and joy, they go together. You cannot really separate them. When we do things deliberately, we automatically say, because I want to. When I want to, I do what I want to. This gives me joy. So this is powerful. So that connection between deliberation and joy is huge. And especially when we do so consciously and with precise, deliberate awareness to say, oh, I'm going to leverage joy. Joy is my ultimate power, my weapon, my shield. And deliberately connecting to joy. It's huge. Huge. Yes?
Yes.
Wow, so powerful. Oh, this humbles me. The power of that just humbles me. With these abilities of character and self, we know we can affect the outcome of events. We have more, are more, no matter how little that more may seem to be, it's there. Our unflinching honesty ensures our humility, but we also know we are not nothing. Yes, I may have been less, but I'm also more. And knowing this gives me power. Knowing this gives me that self trust, that self confidence, that self assuredness that yes, I am also more. Also, also is the key word here. That's how we combine humility with our moreness. We are also more. Thus, in that more, we will trust when we've impeccably done all we can. When we've been impeccable and know we always are impeccable, regardless of our errors and ignorance, we're still at root impeccable in our intent, in our ever ongoing learning. And this is where we come to our true power, joy. When we trust in that moreness, we trust in our impeccability, we embrace our impeccability, we embrace the fact that we are on a journey, and that journey incorporates not knowing, in that journey incorporates ignorance and unawareness. Doesn't matter, we're on a journey, and that journey, that capital J journey, that progression, that is joy. If we do not move into joy, it's as if we're saying to our full selves, to the universe, I do not trust, I do not celebrate myself and appreciate who and what I am and have become and who I will be. So we have to appreciate ourselves and enjoy ourselves, right? No matter how limited that self may be at this point in time. But our deep self admonishes, as nothing as we may be in the universal context, where we are now is still considerable compared to where we were. So yes, this is again, it's just a reminder from the deep self that we are progressing and will progress. We have learned, we do know some little, and what we have learned and what we know is enough for joy and trust. For we have learned about sobriety, we have learned to understand impeccability and humility, it and the humility it brings. We know of power. We realize patience is a superpower as we fully comprehend trust. So we have tools. We have tools that we can say, these are our tools that connect us to more. Therefore, we can take joy in the fact that we have tools, that we have learned these tools, we have acquired them. How can we not be joyful knowing all this? How can we not enjoy our being with this awareness and understanding that we have these tools of being at our disposal? How? We have to. We can't not take joy. Why and how the eventual end result turns out is up to the universe. How exactly we deal with matters is largely up to us. Our choice lies in style. We can deal with things soberly, stressfully, anxiously, positively, joyfully, mirthfully, or in any number of ways. This is a matter of personal style. Integrity, honesty, character, impeccability, ethics. These are not optional and do not fall into the style category.
One moment, please.
Oh, sure. Let me go back.
This is a
So
big one for me.
oh, it's huge. It's huge. So style, like for instance, we can deal with things soberly, stressfully, anxiously, positively, joyfully, mirthfully. Those are style. But integrity, not a matter of style. Integrity is not optional. Honesty, not optional. Character, impeccability, ethics, those are not optional. They're not a style. Those are the fundamentals that make us able to progress in our path. But we can follow our journey, we can follow our progression in any number of ways. Okay, we can do so earnestly, for instance, and have earnestness as being our focus, or we can do so with joy and laughter. This is our style. But we can, in other words, we're still being honest, we are still maintaining our integrity, we're still being impeccable. But I can be impeccably with earnestness or sobriety or with joy or with all of them. So style and the core fundamentals, there's a slight difference, you know. We might say sobriety is part of our core characteristics, but it's also a style, right? So joy is part of our core characteristic, but it's also a style. We don't have to have joy, it's a choice.
Thank you.
Yeah. And again, how we manifest and express our path, like for instance, through art or music or expression, talking, whatever, dancing, it's all style. Makes no difference in the end result, just style. But the core, however we do it in whichever style, makes no difference. We are still applying impeccability and honesty and integrity and so on and ethics, right? Just to understand that, hey, style is a personal thing. The others are just, well, they self-evident sensibilities, and you can't unhook from them. We can only not be happy with what we know if we are crappy and insist on knowing the future and knowing everything, and insist on not making peace with the unknown. This acceptance of the obvious reality of our condition is our secret magic. This is what makes the difference between living as a spirit warrior or living as a nincompoop. We are making peace with the unknown, which means we are making peace with not knowing. We are making peace with being ignorant. We are making peace with being unaware. We are making peace with being limited. That's it. We're making peace with
For
the unknown.
me, for me, making peace with that felt a little different. And I took a maybe a little different path when I recognized that the more there was no separation of the more, and that the more
Yeah.
was me, and that no
Yes.
no matter what I chose, if I thought it through to the end and I was impeccable, then there was no right or wrong. And then I also came to the realization that no matter what happens, and this is something felt deeply at this point, no matter what happens, the ultimately the universe decides. You're presented with options, and then you choose how you deal with them, like a couple screen said back there. But ultimately, the universe decides, and it's an ongoing, it never ends process. So even in the things that I perceived as painful or hurtful or right or wrong, when I was able to shift in knowing that the more God, universe, whatever source, whatever word you want to choose,
Yeah, yeah.
is all knowing and knows more than I do, and that even though this
Yes.
physical world, my senses
Yes.
said and equated it and labeled it as hurtful or painful, when I was able to switch to know that no, this is just learning that I have to do, and that that more knows better than I, and I'm going to embrace this, even if it is pain, in knowing that it is part of the progression and it never ends. And ultimately, that's where the joy came when I was able to switch that. Because before that, when you have that separation, like there's this more and then there's me, and I'm walking through this journey and all these learning things are coming about, that's where it felt very suffering.
Yeah, yeah, it's huge. So making peace with the unknown is also embracing that
But
in the
but it
grand.
doesn't feel unknown. That's my point.
Right,
My
right, right. Well, that's what I was going to say. Making peace with the unknown is another way of saying that we are embracing in the big overallness that things do make sense. Capital M, capital S. Make sense in the grand overall. When we accept that, then the unknown doesn't become a limitation anymore. It becomes a more, it becomes magic. We thus transform the unknown into simply a part of the more.
right.
And we
Okay.
embrace it, we like it. So
It
making peace with the unknown transforms the unknown into the more. And we see
yeah.
there's a grand
There was no
sensibility to everything.
unknown any longer.
Exactly. It is just
Okay.
magic. It's just,
Yes, I'm with you.
it's huge. It's a huge shift to understand without a shadow of a doubt that life, the universe, and everything does actually make sense. There's another session about this, how it all makes sense. And it's a huge shift. It's a big deal because then we can live with freedom and joy and have no fear of anything because it all makes sense. It does all make sense. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay.
No, I already know. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I mean we'll get to it in the module thing. I know just as a reconfirm, just to get into it. So yeah, a nincompoop knows it doesn't know, knows its flaws, knows its inabilities, incompetencies, knows it doesn't know, but it's the ego fear of the nincompoop which dreads exposure and makes it afraid of the unknown. The most foolish of fears, as the unknown is one indisputable factor of existence and also and will always be.
Well, that ego, all ego does for me, it's the, you could say ego equals separation. And once you get rid of that limiting belief, everything shifts.
Yes, yes, yes. Say that again, please, Donna.
You could say for me, ego equals separation. So once
Wow.
you get rid of that limiting belief that there's a separation between you and more, everything
Yes,
shifts. The
yes,
unknown becomes known, pain shifts to joy, you have freedom, you can catch your breath, anxiety leaves, you show up every day.
yes, yes, yes. That's huge. That's huge. That's super, super huge and super, super powerful. In other words, you as an individual are part of the universe. You are
Right.
connected. It's not a separation, it's a spectrum.
Right. Just a tiny little focal point is how my little brain is
Wow.
created a visual for it. It's like this, you know, those little red beanie lights that you use for presentations, those beaming lights. It's like this little red beaming light
Ah,
beaming on
right.
the
Ah, right.
physical body. Yeah, that's how I always have to have a visual for me to like get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Like a laser pointer, you mean?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm a laser pointed being called many things. Here
Ah,
experiencing the world.
right, right. But we are part of a spectrum.
Right,
And that spectrum is the universe. We are not separate from it. We are just on the spectrum of it. We are part of it.
right, right.
And then ego is trying to separate us from being on the spectrum of the universe. And it's just nonsense. No, we are. We are a part of the universe. We are on that
I
same.
remember hearing that concept though. You are part of the universe. I remember thinking, what does that mean?
Well, now you know. Now you
And
know.
now I know.
Isn't that magical?
Yeah, but you can't, what I also know is you can't use words either. It's a progression, and then
Yeah.
you just know there's no real
Yeah.
definition of it.
Yeah. That's why
It's
we in the dictionary of power, we're not adding words to them. We're adding conceptions. It's a big
right.
difference. Because a
Huge
conception,
difference.
it's just a starting point. It's again, any conception is a spectrum. It connects us to the infinite more that is beyond words. But it is the connecting part of it that is the conception. It's the start that allows us to connect to infinity.
Right. And I feel like such a baby. I do get that, but there's so much
Yeah.
of now that you have that sense where it's going to bring you. And I feel like I'm so crawling. There's so much to know,
Yes.
so much to
Yes.
learn.
Yes. Yes. But when we celebrate, oh my goodness, I love learning. I love it. I love it. I love it. I have all this incredible infinity of learning ahead of me. How can I not celebrate and be joyful? And my life is full to the brim. Every single second, I have the ability to be joyful and to experience magic. Why? Because I'm always learning and I love learning. And I've got all this infinity of magic around me. I cannot get enough of that. I cannot get enough of that. Hello. I don't know who that was, but he waved at me like he knew me. I have no clue. Don't think I've ever seen him before, but I remember. Interesting. All right. That's pretty cool. Okay.
Unknown. More.
Unknown. More, exactly. Magic. Magic. That's just incredible.
Beena.
I love it. I love it. I love
That's
it.
the magic of Beena. We can go on and be talking, and she'll say 2 or 3 words and bring it all together.
Exactly.
Right?
I love it. I love it. Very powerful. Thus,
Ah,
unless we want to always live as a nincompoop, we first have to make peace with the fact that in some way we will always be nincompoops relative to the universe. That's the humility of the spirit warrior. Then we shift to knowing we have tools of power with which to deal with the unknown. These tools are the empowerment of the spirit warrior. Thus, what's left to do? Once we're set on our never ending journey into the unknown, what else do we need to accomplish before we get to joy? Nothing. What else do we need to accomplish before we get to joy? Nothing. Joy is our ultimate accomplishment right now. We don't need to do anything more. If we're experiencing joy, that's it. And because we take our joy from always learning, we're in the perfect spot. We've achieved perfection.
but once you get to joy, I guess my for me, my point is once you get there, there is no unknown.
Exactly.
They seem, yeah,
Exactly. The unknown becomes more, and it just
right.
adds to more joy.
So
Exactly.
that's why I'm like, maybe we
Exactly.
can shift some of the wording.
Right. But it is there. I do want to use that because the unknown is such a big deal. And keep in mind, you already have passed that point. This is geared to somebody just in the start. So it's important to use that word unknown because we are transforming it into more. And that's
You're
our part
absolutely
in.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotcha. Thank you.
Our journey is not to joy, since that will take forever. Our journey into the unknown is also a journey into the magic of infinity. And as such, we cannot wait to get to joy. If we wait thinking it's the end of the journey, we'll wait for infinity. No. Joy is the accomplishment which comes from being on the journey. Joy is the consequence of being on the journey. Joy is the culmination of our efforts to get onto our path. Joy is the awareness of the realization we are now on the journey into the unknown or the journey into more. I'm going to change this. Just for you, Donna. See?
Thank you.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love updating this. It is really magical to me. Just a little slow, computer. Come on. Oh, what happened? Ah, the journey into more. And Come on. It's trying to update. There we go. I can maybe make that all caps. You know what? I think I will make it all caps. Yeah. You agree? You like that? All caps, italicized. They're good. Hmm. Oh, you're both muted. All right.
Oh yes, I muted myself because my neighbors are just are so excited. I don't know for what reason.
Beena has really wild neighbors, magical neighbors.
Oh yes, all magical neighbors.
Mhm.
They all are wild in our in their conversation,
Yeah.
in their
I
beings.
have magical neighbors too.
Right. We celebrate the infinity of the unknown, the infinity of the more. We celebrate the infinity of the more. Oh, I wanted this italics. Why didn't I go italics? Sorry. Come on. There we go. We celebrate the infinity of the more as the gift of perpetual magic it is, and the joy it is. Thus, how can we not feel joy? Be joy. What else is there to do which makes more sense than feeling joy? What? As a spirit warrior on a never ending journey into the infinite magic of the more, all we have is our impeccability, trust, and joy. But without joy, what's the point? Yeah? I mean, what's the point of all this if we don't have joy? It's just like a duh point, but it's a huge duh point, right? What's the point of everything we do if it's not with joy?
Of
And joy
course,
here is a,
because
it's
we
a
already
overall term. It can
yeah.
be bliss, it can be rapture, elation, ecstasy, whatever you conceive of joy to be for you. Doesn't matter.
But also because that once we are concluded that there is always more, so what's the point of not having joy in this moment? Because
Exactly.
we are just always having more.
And the joy of knowing that there's more. Wow, what a profound
Yeah.
joy. Wow. That first step is often in the dark, but when taken with integrity and impeccability, the second step turns the light on. This connects back to our self trust, our self confidence, and our self assurance. Knowing that when we act with integrity and impeccability, and we complete and do our first step with integrity and impeccability, it turns on the light for the second step, creates the second step, actualizes the second step. Comes a time we have to make this shift to self acceptance of the reality of who and what we are, who and what we have become, who and what we are going to be, will be, and the knowing no matter how much we are, there will always be more, and always we will be nothing. Thus, we have to shift to enjoying the process of becoming, shift to the joy of being, begin that journey into the more of being, which is a perpetual journey of joy. We can enjoy now. I want to change this process of becoming to the progression of becoming. Yeah? What do you think?
Yes, yes.
And italicized also. Okay. Excellent. All right.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's really not a progression. It's always there. It's just the realization of it being there.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll go with
Yeah.
progression.
Yeah. But it leverages us that idea of progression. You know, it's a tool that gives us
It's
that
a brain
leverage,
tool,
a brain tool. It's a manipulation of the bureaucrats. Exactly.
right?
It's a
Brain.
strategic employment. Right.
Oh, that's another one of my work power words. Brain tool.
Ooh, I like that. A brain tool. Yes. Yes. I like that. Right. Through that joy, we empower our being. Through that empowerment, through our impeccability and our path, we move to the joyful exemplification of being, which is the ultimate expression of joy. balances our attunement with the world and enables us. That's what you were saying earlier when you accepted that, hey, that things make sense, and letting things come from the universe. That's attunement, and this is enables us and empowers us, right? And it's a joy.
Do you remember the conversation where you shared with me, start from a point of everything makes sense and work backwards?
Yeah, yeah,
That was pivotal.
yeah, yeah. To just insist that things make sense, and then to say, okay, I'm going to insist that everything makes sense. Now I'm going to say how, and I work backwards from there. When we
And
do that
it
exercise,
oh, sorry.
hmm,
No,
what
no,
do you
no.
say?
Please go on.
I can't hear you say again, Bella.
I said, please go on. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no problem. What I wanted to say is when we do this exercise, we actually discover a realistic, sensible proof that, oh, we insisted as a matter of strategy, as a hypothesis, we insisted that everything does make sense. Then, when we work backwards, we actually acquired the proof that it does make sense. The one leveraged into the other. And what a powerful mind tool. And just never mind life mind tool, but a life tool to say, oh, when we insist on what we want, and then we work backwards from there to figure out how could this possibly be, we actually find, oh wow, I don't have to believe it. It's actually a realistic thing that proves itself. And this is transformative. It is massively transformative. Look at the difference it's made for you, right, Donna?
For me, what happened was I would say those words, and I thought, yes, I'm saying thought, quote unquote, that it would be a process, kind of like Columbo. Okay, this happened, and I'm going to work backwards and figure out why and what they were thinking and doing, and da da da. That's not what happened at all, which kind of surprised me. So for me, it was a brain tool in that it worked for me in a way that allowed my little self to grasp it in a way that worked for me. So
Right.
it was like an end result. It just kind of happened.
Right.
It's like the magic was there. And
Right.
I just had to open my mind up to it and my eyes up to it so I could see it. And by using that expression, and I don't know how, but somehow for me, it opened up that door where the magic could come through. Magic was always there knocking at the door. I just didn't have eyes to see it. And just by using that expression, those words put in that order, it
Right.
opened the door.
Right. Incredible. Perspective shifting. That's what happened. You just had a little shift of perspective and it transformed everything. It's incredible the magical power of perspective shifting. It's absolutely incredible. So what that happened was this tool allowed the little me to transcend itself.
Which for me is a brain tool that helped me get there.
Yeah. That's why we are masters of psychology. We know that we need these little stupid idiotic brain tools, which are the tiniest little tweak. Just adding a comma in the right place changes everything.
Exactly.
It's
A
unbelievable.
well-placed comma.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
It's incredible. Really incredible. It enables
Yes,
us.
an odd place comma also makes a huge difference for self.
Yes.
Yes.
I was waiting for you to come in there after your post and all.
And I will say, Donna and Beat are, to me, fantastically, magically, not just well placed, but exquisitely appropriate placed commas in the magic of my life. Transformative
Donna,
commas.
Donna, we have a long history of odd place commas.
Yes, exactly.
Literally and figuratively.
Right?
Yes, yes.
Mm.
So
No space
okay,
in front of the comma.
yes, for self, a perfect placed comma, and for me, odd placed comma. Both are very significant.
Magic, yeah. When we edit Venus writings, She tends to put space, comma, no space. Why? Heaven alone knows, but some oddity.
Okay.
But she used to
So
do
here
that,
he
not
is.
anymore. Used to, not anymore. All of this enables us through the joy of knowing our humility, the humility of a spirit warrior, the humility of a power learner, the humility of a deliberate life adventurer. The joy of knowing it's not a limitation or an inhibition, but an empowered freedom when connected to the more of our unrelenting life efforts. Unrelenting needs to be capitalized. Big deal, big deal. We are enabled through the joyful awareness of those labors which have yielded the considerable value and usefulness we have at our disposal, but which we can only take full advantage of through an impeccable exemplification of being, through the constant empowered joy of self understanding and the full acceptance of a self honesty which includes the more. But includes needs to be needs to be emphasized. Our self honesty needs to include our more. Very, very, very critical. Not just our self honesty and our self conception, but our integration into the connectivity of the greater world. In what you were saying, Donna, earlier about this connectivity to understanding and accepting and embracing and enjoying and celebrating the fact that, whoa, when I'm open to things coming to me, oh my God, what magic, what moreness, what peace, what ease, what trust. All of this just becomes profoundly magical. It's just most awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
A more we can no longer hide, a more which is not a conflict to the fact of our ever present humility, but a more to celebrate and exemplify through the joy of being who we are unrequited. We want to enjoy ourselves unrequited, our moreness unrequited. We have to be impeccable with being good for ourselves first. Otherwise, we will be contaminating what we send out. That's a big quote. That's a big quote right there. We have to be impeccable with being good for ourselves first. Otherwise, we will be contaminating what we send out. That's huge. That's a huge, huge thing. As in session 2, a session which raises many questions, part of its purpose. The task us to draw up these questions, to elaborate and bring our perspectives, to say, okay, not for now.
Oh, yes. Okay, and I do have questions, of course, or not just not questions exactly,
Observations.
but yes. So I want to share to kind of asking for confirmation that what I'm taking is right or not. So I will ask later, maybe
So,
tomorrow.
so, so this is a repeat back takeaway.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
checking your
Okay.
understanding.
Yes.
Listening, Beena, listening.
Not right now.
Oh, okay, brilliant,
Tomorrow.
brilliant. Okay, module. I'm looking for module 3, session 3, the dictionary of power. Okay, I like this going quickly through it. It's really fun, most enjoyable.
And though we had a totally different discussion about self-belief, other than that, still we managed to do that. So it's good. You're doing good.
Exactly, and it's most awesome. It's most awesome. I'm not even getting a chance to eat my orange. It's loading, loading slowly. Come on, boy. Okay, the Dictionary of Power, Module 3, Session 3. We've been adding and building entries into our Dictionary of Power. Essential to understanding why it is a Dictionary of Power is connecting the entries in it to our self-conception. Each item in the Dictionary of Power is also an entry and a building block of you. The power conceptions are you. The idea is not to make a substitute for memory and knowing, but to use the Dictionary of Power as an emphasis mechanism, as a brain tool. An entry of a power conception is not enough. We also, you know what, I need to add that brain tool in there. Sorry, let me go back 1 second.
Yes, actually, I feel like, okay, this is something needs to be, okay.
There we go.
It makes more sense.
Say again, Beena, the last part?
I like that. I like that Donna used that brain tool.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Oh, me too. I love it. Love it.
yeah.
It's magical. And I love incorporating them like this. It gives me great joy, great joy. An entry of a power conception is not enough. We also want to add our definitions, understandings, extra additional meanings and connections, and our personal take on the power conceptions. Through this process, we make all the power, excuse me, power conceptions in our dictionary of power our own. 1 second. A bit of citrus getting in there somewhere. So this is key to make it our own. Very important. This is crucial and vital. You want to keep adding to each power conception until it is thoroughly and plainly and clearly, self-evidently sensible to you. In the same way as this simple entry into Donna's Dictionary of Power of Brain Tool, it is huge because it is self-evidently sensible to Donna. It also happens to be self-evidently sensible to us. But hey, you know, this is the key.
The inner bureaucrats, that's what it
Yeah.
equates to. But for some reason, for me, that separated it. I couldn't
Yes.
put a visual
Yes.
on inner
Yes.
bureaucrat.
Yes.
So like my brain, I can come up with a visual, and it's like this tool that fizzles away at the whole belief. So
Yes.
that worked for me.
And that is precisely why they are bureaucrats, because they are excessively fiddly and finicky about the precise wording. To say mind tool and brain tool, for them there's a difference. I'm just saying for argument's sake now, right? They get very fiddly about the precision. No. It's a brain tool, not a mind tool. Okay, bureaucrats. All right, whatever makes you happy, whatever works, to find that precise one that leverages. There you go. Now we got it. Now it works. Now they're just foolish like that. They're just silly like that. That's just how they are, and we just have to know that, leverage it, utilize it, and transform it into power.
Do other people have to have visuals? And I'm just curious for the fact of like how you put the modules together. Do like you guys need a visual for it to like sink in?
Sometimes not. It depends on the particular individual. Yes, visuals are a powerful brain tool, and simply because of emphasis and connectivity. I tell you what, Donna, if I had the capability, I would love to add something that Beena brought up the other day, and this is the transformative, magical, associative power of scent or fragrance. If there was the possibility, like, you know, they talked about smell-o-vision, you know, but if this could be in some way to have each of these conceptions associated not just with a visual, but also a sound, also a feel, and also a smell, this would be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, the integration of it would be very
Huge.
powerful.
But so,
Yeah,
in
that'd
just
be cool.
right, in the limitation of our medium, we have to make do with what we can. Here is where I do feel that when we are physically proximate, physically present with each other, it it provides that leverage. We get those additional associations of smell, of touch, of feel, and of direct energy perception. Yes, there is energy coming through here, but it's it's indirect and it's not as potent as when it's direct. So all of those are
That's for sure.
associations. Yeah, yeah. So it's very powerful. The more associations we can add, the better. Okay, very, very exciting. Once an entry is so obviously obvious to you that you don't have to even think about it anymore, then the awareness of the power conception alone is enough to be transformative because we are deeply self honest. How can we not apply and live what is a self evident sensibility? We can't. We have to live what is a self evident sensibility, right? I want to italicize that.
We live it because we are it.
Exactly, and we have to because we're honest.
Right.
That's the magic of it. I just love that. It's essential to understand that your dictionary of power is your self in process, self in progression. It's an intimately personal construction mechanism for the fleshing out of the real you.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I love that. I love that. I love updating as well. Just love updating. We also must know and be aware that our dictionary of power is an ever ongoing process and will never be static because, of course, when it comes to us as spirit warriors especially, there is always more. Right? Capital P progression. I like this change of process to progression. I find it quite magically potent. Yeah, you guys?
Yes.
There's always
Yes.
more. I like this picture too. All right. Prepare your dictionary of power for sharing in a takeaway session. I want to do this at some point. When we're done with this, I want to go over our dictionaries of power and share them. I think this will be huge. It'll be really fun, right?
Oh yes,
And
I
necessary
would love.
also. Okay, that was, oh, the next one is, we're getting there. Uh, Module 3, Session 4, which is the Life Detective and Trust, if I remember correctly. Yes, Module 3, Session 4. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right.
Okay, so how many sessions does Model 3 have?
4.
4. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be good. Nice timing. We finish this one and we're done for this today. We'll wrap it up and that will be perfect. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Very exciting. We're going to look at an exemplification and practical application of what we have learned from this perspective of how this applies to us, from the perspective of how this applies to us so far. The idea as we go through the following is for you to ask yourself, check with yourself by connecting how much of the following is you and how much also can be you should you choose. Key point, should you choose, if you want to. A life detective is all about doing. And here we come to this conception that I was trying to really make Sherry shift in to say, hey, all what we're about is doing. It's practical. It's in the moment to moment, the day to day, in being a mom, in being an employee, in being a student, a learner, doing chores in the house, whatever. It's all about in every single second of doing in the physical, practical, real world. Life detective key points: humble, unobtrusive yet authoritative, confident, involved with their own doings, outside the system, not concerned with image, often underestimated, shows teeth and asserts themselves when needed in no uncertain terms. So as we go through these, just say, okay, yes, yes, no, yes, yes, no. Doesn't matter. It's just about resonance here. It's building out a conception of self and expanding on it. Pays exquisite attention, yes. Never assumes, yes. Checks and tests assumptions. Asks questions. Not afraid to be ignorant, yes. Doesn't let go of an anomaly, no matter how small. That's a huge one right there, very big. Subtle without being obvious. Adds trivialities and insignificancies together to look for pattern and significance, yes. Pays close attention to implications, yes, very much so. No pretensions about themselves, honest about themselves, honest with themselves and about themselves. Yeah, doesn't give others, regardless of status, any unnecessary due. That's an important point. As in our progression in life, we may have defaulted from our just when we were children and this, and you give people with status, it's just by implication you give them this unnecessary due. No, just because you have fame or status or anything, you're still a person, and I'm relating to you as a person. I don't care whether you have fame or not; it makes no difference. So I'm going to treat you the same, regardless. Understands that character has nothing whatsoever to do with success and status. Everyone can be anything underneath. Always courteous and polite, doesn't flinch at moment of truth. This is important. That not flinching at the moment of truth. That's being able to deal with awful truth. Watches intent and demeanor. Oh yes, that's a big one. Is finely aware of balance. Keeps very slight imbalance in others. This was an observation of just in general of being it's not necessarily an important thing, but this keeping a slight imbalance in others, it is saying it's not a manipulation, it is just a projection of cueing to say, hey, don't take me for granted, don't assume that the way I am now is the way I'm always going to be. In other words, expect surprise from me, expect the unexpected, expect change. This is what is implied here by keeping a very slight imbalance in others. Runs through scenarios in boring, excruciating detail to verify. This is the thoroughness of our checking and of working things backwards, that backward process of reverse engineering. Takes whatever time and effort is necessary. Neither are a consideration, only impeccability. We don't ever shy away from a task because we say, oh, this is going to take a long time. If it needs doing, and we do it. End of story. Understands the leverage of self-importance, sets tone and mood. That's important, setting the tone and mood. Spirit warrior is always in charge, has inordinate patience, allows natural pace and rhythm. That's that connectivity of yours, right, Donna, to the acceptance that the universe has it all. And we just need to adjust to that natural pace and rhythm. Yes? Understands the psychology of others from their point of view, like assumption of similarity, mentality of opposites, comparative mindset, etc., etc. Understanding the psychology of others from their point of view. That's really huge. Create space for others to exercise their agendas, mainly response. Yeah, we're responding to the universe. Never makes points of ego or demonstrations of self abilities. Well, gives power to self. Always initiates and dictates interaction, even though they don't do or say much to set the theme. Again, spirit warrior always in charge. Communicates on the underlying grid where there's no BS. So trust their own ability to put together the conclusions well before the facts present themselves. We trust us. We trust in our greater sensibility. We trust in our intuition. We trust in our greater sobriety. We trust in our ability to leap and to put together things. And then when we have that jump to this point, like for instance, oh, we're jumping to the point the universe does make sense. Everything does make sense. Then we don't just leave it there, we reverse engineer from this overall fact that we've put together, right? But we do trust that we can put things together without all of the facts being present yet. And we can reverse engineer to connect to those facts. Is able to accept a perspective regardless of how odd it may seem or how little there may be to support it yet. Believes in the intuition. Yes, absolutely. Believes in signs, anomalies, outside intervention, assistance, etc. Willing to gamble, experiment, take chances when needed, whatever it takes. The more interaction, the more the actions and activities have to be extended, the easier it is to see pattern of improbability. Uses force of circumstance, yes, for sure, and makes their own circumstances to force reaction. Very powerful. Practices and is adept at connecting to more from little via implication. Implication is attended to with exquisite care, looks beyond the frame. That looking beyond the frame, that's a very big deal. It's most useful to have a conceptual being within which we can wrap philosophical strategies. In this case, the entire trust mechanism, which is connected to intent, which is connected to traveling on the learning path, which is all about figuring out our lessons. And for that, we need to be a life detective. This is the point of being a life detective. It is figuring out our lessons. Yeah, that magic that the universe brings to us, that profound guidance and prompting and shifting. We have to be life detectives. Why? Because the universe cannot give it to us directly. That would be programming. It has to do it in roundabout ways so that we can come to it by ourselves. And for this, we need to be life detectives. Most important, the life detective does not ignore or downplay the tiniest point of significance. The most minute fact, which is indisputable in its consequences, leads to changing everything. The profound, magnificent, glorious, unbelievable awesomeness and influence of the tiny comma. This change is fully respected, fully adapted to, taken fully into cognizance, and most importantly, those indisputable but unwanted or unpleasant facts are not ameliorated or ignored. They are they aren't downplayed in every way, in any way. Everything is shifted. Take the indisputable, albeit unpleasant truth into account. This means setting aside desire or like or wish. It necessitates the solution of extrapolated anticipation and potential positivity. That's a very convoluted sentence. It necessitates the solution of extrapolated anticipation and potential positivity. So we're not locking ourselves into anything, in other words. It's imperative to be able to let go of goals when everything changes. We are open, always open. We are always fluid, flexible, and adaptable. Few people act. They refuse to believe what's happening until it's too late. Not us. We are always acting, always acting. No matter how tiny or insignificant, we see the patterns and we say, hey, I'm going to act now. I'm not going to wait until it's too late because we're paying attention. We're aware. The point above is an imperative one for us. We tend to soften and often we tend to soften the often harsh truths our discernments and insights present. We cannot do this if we are to function appropriately and expediently whilst maintaining those truths of accuracy. It may only be one, but that's all it takes. When it's undeniable, we cannot write it off. We have to practice the skill. It's only habit. We have the awareness at the time. We simply do not use it immediately. We wish to give the benefit of the doubt, knowing full well the precise and indisputable truth. This we can no longer do. We need to live precisely with exquisite accuracy. And this means that if we encounter one tiny little fact which we cannot ignore, that tiny little fact that we cannot ignore can change our entire world, our entire life. And we have to be prepared to do this. That's the exquisite accuracy. We need to live precisely. Doesn't matter that it's one fact, the fact that it's indisputable, the fact that it is a fact changes everything. And we need to respond to that and not say, oh, it's just one little fact. Doesn't matter whether it's one, changes everything. We adjust, we change. This adjustment will make little difference to external behavior. It will manifest in not engaging, in not going down what we know to be dead ends, manifesting in not wasting time and effort on doomed projects, and enabling an immediate responsiveness that's essential to attunement and alignment. So that's the thing. We don't wait to update and say, oh, well, no, I don't want to deal with this. It's too much effort. It's too much problem. No, no. When we need to adapt, when we need to change, even if it's our entire life, we do so. The life detective is all about resolution. A key element for obtaining resolution is trust. Big deal. We have to trust. Without trust, what do we have on our marvelous path? When we fully trust, we're truly committed. When there's nothing else but trust, that's when belief becomes real and is made manifest. If we're engaging in an act of trust, that's a big statement there, but I'm not going to get into it right now. If we're engaging in an act of trust, which is a necessity when traversing the path of life and learning, we also have to be courageous. Trust is an act of capital C courage. Otherwise, it's an act of foolishness. We have to go into trust with full awareness, knowing there's risk, but knowing there's no alternative other than going back. For those on the quest to freedom, there is no going back. Can you, Donna? Can you, Beena? Can you go back to old Donna, to old Beena?
Can you repeat the
No,
question?
even if I try.
Exactly. No, it is not a possibility. It is not
Can
an
you
option.
repeat the question?
I say, Donna, can you go back to previous Donnas, to old Donnas, to previous ways of being, previous lives? Hell no. I know it's a dirk question, but this is the thing. For those on the quest to freedom, there is no going back. We're on a one-way trip. Technically, you could, technically you could, but for us, according to our personal predilections and what really matters to us, there's no going back. Just not
I
an
don't
option.
even know that technically you could, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. But just it's a mindset. That's all I'm saying. Some people they hanker, they have this continual, perpetual hankering to go back, and it's idiocy, it's foolishness, and then that's when they start to live in the past. That's when people say live in the now. They continually want to go back to some romanticized, idealized conception of, well, it was so wonderful in the past. No, bullshit, it wasn't. You're just making it so. Anyway. The life detective seeks to understand and unravel the mysteries encountered along the life path. Yes, we are looking to really connect to those and enjoy them. So we get to situations where all we can do is proceed with trust, with positive trust. That positive is built from courage. Courage is always going to be a bit uncomfortable. It has to be, since when courage is involved, there so is risk. That discomfort is what keeps us sharp, it keeps us alert, what heightens our awareness and enhances our learning. Thus, discomfort when being courageous is a most necessary ingredient for many reasons. It keeps us from being fools. When we combine discomfort, courage, and trust, we come close to intent. Intent is the key ingredient, as we all well know. We have used it many times, but the use has been somewhat haphazard. It can do with refining. We can add resolve, determination, perseverance, and forbearance, and of course, impeccability and scrupulousness of motive, clarity of intent. For the life detective, any mystery is exciting to solve. Coming to resolution is the thrill and joy. We love learning, in other words. Imperative to intent is vision, a vision of the most overall. Donna's point earlier, awareness of all involved, all the positive possibilities, positive and negative. Any intent has to be attuned and aligned to that. And if it so happens our intent is a low probability, we have to know this also. We have to know clearly and unequivocally it's our only option. There's no other, and we have been thorough. If there was another option, we would have taken it. But since there isn't, come back to our intent and the necessity for our trust. So we're combining here this key element to say that at some point we have to have this profoundness of capital T trust. Once we have done all this, once we have set our intent, all that's left is once again trust. That's what impeccability then requires. It's the only thing we can do to alleviate doubt. And doubt is, of course, the stepping stone to fear and stress. It's the gateway to unraveling all the mighty efforts we have put into our intent. Thus, we cannot doubt, not even for an iota of a microsecond. If we cannot doubt, all that's left is to trust, capital T trust. So we trust with courage. Going into the unknown armed us. Going into the more armed us. Hey, Going into the more, I'm thus. Knowing our discomfort is part of our trust, and knowing if we're impeccable in our trusting, it's the key factor in determining the outcome of our venturing. We, in the end, have to trust in trust. It's all we have when we set an intent. It's very powerful, very powerful. When we trust like this, we embrace life, we embrace living. This trust is the trust of going forward, the trust of action, the trust of movement, no matter how small. This is how it connects to intent. To intend, by its very definition, means to do, to be doing, to be moving, to be going forward. Those who are at a standstill in their desperation will cling to the vain hopes of their wishes. It's merely appeasement. It's risk avoidance at its most futile. It's not even risking the tiniest of chances for the security of nothing. And sadly, the supreme irony is this is done out of fear of looking foolish for pursuing a small chance, when the very definition of foolishness is to give up a something for a nothing. No, this trust is the trust of action. There's a lot in that. We kind of skipped over it, but was a lot in that particular one. It's the trust of positivity and optimism. For if we act, if we move forward, if we pursue that chance, no matter how slim, do we not have to at least, sorry, do we not have to have at least some optimism and positivity? Yes, we do. How could we move forward if we did not? If we're moving forward into the unknown because we have no choice, it's that or nothing, then it's still a positive choice. We're choosing the unknown something over the definite nothing. We're choosing the unknown. We're choosing the unknown. Okay, I'm just going to leave that. I can't see how to put more in there, but okay. If we're moving into the more, because we have no choice, it's that or nothing. Then it's still a positive
Something
choice.
of more.
We're choosing the unknown more, maybe, instead
No,
of,
if you're choosing the something of more over the
ah,
definite nothing.
all right. Yeah, yeah, that's good. There's something of more. Nice, 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 nice. Over the definite nothing. That's living, for death is nothing. Thus, to live is to trust. To live is to be optimistic and positive, no matter how small. If we're going to have to do this living thing, then why not embrace the process? In this case, I think process is
It does. It
appropriate.
works.
Okay. Go into it willingly, make the most of it. This is again where trust comes into play. It's a way to maximize our limited resources, to optimize our available options. Why to us? We have to trust. Very powerful. We are maximizing our options. That's why we have to trust. We have to have capital T trust to maximize that. Hey, what happened? Did I skip one here? No. Okay. The life detective is always positive, always, and unrelenting positivity. Hello, girl. Yeah. Then there's the trust of embracing our responsibility, the responsibility we have assumed for remaining alive. This we have chosen, knowing full well everything that this choice entails. How can we not trust this choice? If we do not, then the other option is death. Once we choose life, we surely have to trust and take full responsibility for that choosing. When we do, we once again embrace life, embrace living. We're trusting our choices. We're trusting that whatever circumstance we're in, no matter what, there's always something we can do. No matter how much matters are out of our hands, we can always trust our intent. We can trust somehow it'll all work out for the best. The key to this trust is realizing intent is always connected to the long term overall. And it's to this we connect our trust. And of course, also to our impeccability. I think that comes in at some point. Trust is thus enabling, but we have to have that resolve to trust, which is a resolve to live, a resolve to progress, to move forward, a resolve to do something, anything. It's a resolve to never give up, to never just sit and wait for life to do what it wills to us. That's not an option. This is the magic of trust. Even when it seems life has locked us into an unmovable position, this trust is a doing, an active action, an action of intent. We are making something happen with this trust alone. For this trust is ultimately an intent. Thus, we will create via our trust a resolution, an opening, something which will allow us to move away from whatever life brings our way that's unwanted. This is the difference between capital T trust and hope. One is an action and the other is a wish. One is a determination, the other is acceptance. This trust is a taking charge of our lives, of deciding no matter what, we will find a way, even if that way is nothing but our trust. And that's the thing with this trust. Why it's a trust of doing, of action, as we cannot know how or if it works until it's used. And for that, we have to apply this trust, not just think about it, but do it. And most importantly, we have to feel this trusting.
When it comes to feeling and trusting, what comes up for me is sometimes it's doing nothing.
Yes, that's that. But in that doing nothing, you're actually trusting.
Right.
Trusting. Yeah, yeah.
But I guess when I read that, it
Yeah.
felt to me that it's like you're saying you always have to be quote unquote doing and having action. And sometimes when you're really trusting with a
Right.
capital T,
Right.
you're feeling comfortable in
Yes.
being and
Yes.
doing nothing.
Yes. And yeah, being and doing, they are parts of a continuum. They aren't separate terms. Being is also a doing. So it's one of those cockeyed words where they both really mean the same thing in some way or another.
I'm equating doing to your word of action
Yes.
in the previous screen and how that is an association I have.
Yeah. And when we look at trust as a not doing, but it's a powerful thing too. It's a being. So it's an action in its own way. All of these are, it depends how we use them, the context.
I gotcha. I resonate with that.
I love it. I love it. I love that that this point you made, that trust sometimes, that to trust, we have to absolutely do nothing in a physical way, in a specific way. And we have to unhook from everything and create space for our trust to be applied. And we are making ourselves available for the more to come to us because we don't know where it is. So sometimes that trust is making space. And in that, when you said just doing nothing, that is making space for the more to come, right? Through
Right.
trust. Yeah.
Through trust.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that trust element there, then you're just sort of being lazy.
Exactly. And also our trust is founded on impeccability, of course. We only are utilizing capital T trust when we've done all of the actual actions that we can do, when we've been impeccable in our doings. But we say, okay, all of my doings aren't enough. They're not getting me what I need. So now I'm saying the one thing that I've got left after exhausting my impeccability is to say, I got one step left. I got one brain tool left, one power tool left. That is trust, capital T trust.
Right. If you don't have the impeccability, it's still small t trust.
Exactly. We have to trust in trust. But once we do, and do so repeatedly, we of course come to see its validity, its magic. And when we do, we learn the confidence of trusting. We know if we have exhausted all our higher probability options, we also have one option left in the self, the option of trust. Repeated use will never alleviate the discomfort and necessity of courage, an indispensable element, but repeated use will certainly alleviate that discomfort substantially. Since if we have to use trust again, it means it's worked previously. We must never forget this. It's how we come to fully trust our trust through never giving up, through always trying, even when all we have left to try is trust. That's now post impeccability. When a life detective trusts their personal power, no matter how small it may be, they're acting impeccably. Nice picture. And session 4, we will need to be life detectives in addition to our other ways of being and self-conceptions. Make a note of our, okay, we want to go into this now, or then another. Okay, end session 4, and S is also end module 4, and perfect timing. So yeah, this key point, and I do need to add this into this thing of trust, but it does come into there's a session on capital T trust alone. That was just, how the life detective connects to trust. But
Was this the original? This is the original module? You didn't make any changes
no,
to it?
No, it wasn't in the I added it later on, so it wasn't in the original.
Thing that we just did today.
Say that again. I didn't hear. Say again.
The module that we just did today, was that the original?
No, no. I shifted them around. I readjusted the order. So when you first looked at it, they were in a different order. The life detective was like much later on, and so yeah, so they got
The
rearranged.
whole thing felt different.
Ha ha ha. Yeah,
Wow.
I did rearrange it. Yeah, yeah. So that's why when I scroll through this where I originally created it, you see these are in the original order. You see that was module one, module two, or module one, session two. Those two remained the same, but then that one shifted. You see now here it jumps. It jumps. There's module two, session one, but there's no session two. So this got out of order. You see, I rearranged them, and you see you see this jump to module 7. I took this from the beginning and put it at the end. So I did rearrange them quite considerably. Yeah. So it is different. Yeah, yeah.
You redid them too. The words aren't the
Um,
same.
I know I didn't change much of the word.
No? Okay.
Very little, just in the way that when I edit them when we're doing it, in some I very change the word here, add a bit there, but not substantially. No, no, I haven't
That's
done
so
that.
interesting
I
because
want
my
to, but I haven't.
perception of those modules is so much different right now than it was.
That is exactly why we are doing this again. This is the power and the magic of doing it again, and the repetition that when we come through, it's like, oh, it's all new. It's all new. This is exactly why we are doing this. This is the power and the magic of it, because you are new. It is an evidence of your progression, that perception of it being new. It is an evidence of your progression. I cannot emphasize that enough. That's why, as spirit warriors, we can just hear the same profoundness over and over and over again, because it's always new to us, because we're always changing. And it's always profound, it's always significant, it's always meaningful. It's a profoundness. It's a really incredible, magical thing.
Wow.
Yes, we are leveraging capital P patience with that too, and perspective shifting, but we are hearing it from where we are at. And since we are always changing, it's always new. And we never can get enough. We can never get enough of the sublime and the profound. Never, 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 ever. It's always more. It's always more. Takeaways. Just an overall.
That was like having a math textbook that had the same title, and then you open it up and all the pages are different, and you're like, wow, same book, same title.
Now it makes more sense.
The pages are different.
Did it make more sense this time, Beena, Donna?
It made sense. It always made sense. There was always a connection to the knowing. It just had a feeling to it this time. The feeling was there.
The resonance.
Right.
There was a greater resonance now, yes?
Yeah.
That's
it was like I really had to think the first time through and then like apply it to life situations where now it just was like you could zip through it and it's like that feels there's a feeling to it.
Yes.
Beena, did you feel that?
I just want to share how much that gives me profound, exquisite joy. What you just said, Donna, that resonated. Beena?
Okay. Yes. I miss few sentences. So will you just repeat last one, so I can.
Oh, well, Beena, we were just to recapitulate, saying that going through it now had a greater resonance than it did before. In the first time or the beginning, those times there was a lot more thinking that was necessary and figuring out and work involved. Now it was more about resonance and appreciation and enjoyment and connectivity than it was before. If I'm summarizing appropriately, right, Donna?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Donna, it is again coming to my that term I used before. The first time I was actually feeling stupid. Everything was blowing over my head.
The now unmentionable term. The now unmentionable term. Ooh, I love that it's unmentionable. I love it.
Because everything was actually blowing over my head, and I was like, okay, trying to catch. And I used it analogy many times of leprechaun, because I said, okay, still whatever you just threw over me, I was like, okay, trying to shine it, trying to make sense of it. So everything was new for me. And yes, you're absolutely right. This time, yeah, it might seem a bit like egoistic that I'm feeling a bit elevated now, so I can see it from the above, from the broader perspective. I can see that, okay, no, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, why it is? So I'm questioning. Before, it was all the questions were about just to understand what it is, but now we are questioning about the perspective and the mechanism and the sensibility of the concepts. So yes, it's a huge difference now.
Right.
Huge,
And it's a
huge
lot more
difference.
obvious now. It's a lot more
Of
involved now.
course. That's why. That's why it is okay. We are asking. Okay, we are just looking. Okay, is it sensible? Okay, now it makes sense and all these things.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Right. Because
So
both
today was the day for me to use that unmentionable term again and again
yes, it
for
was
myself.
appropriate. It was
What
appropriate.
was it?
The unmentionable
No,
term.
no.
What's the unmentionable term?
No, we can't say it. It's unmentionable.
No.
Good try, Donna. Good try. Good try. Good try. But no, we shall not bite. We shall not be fished by Donna. No, no fishing. No fishing.
You suggested that do not use that. So how can I use now?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
I'm playing with you.
yeah. Fantastic. I love this. I just absolutely love this. And when we realize the difference, what made it is the process of making things our own. You and you and you and me. We've taken all of this and we've made it our own. And that's why when we come back, Donna, you've been sharing throughout all of this. You've been sharing how you have taken these things and made it your own. And in that sharing, that connectivity to making it your own, this is now the resonance comes. Even though the words are still the same, your connectivity to them is via the internal ownness of your own conceptions, your own words, your own phrasing, your own understandings. And now, this connectivity of, even though the words in this are still the same, they seem different to you because you're hearing them inside in your own language. And this is incredibly powerful. It is incredibly powerful. So it seems different because inside you're hearing them according to Donna world, Donna language, and Beena world, Beena language. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, this difference. You've really done that one thing that is absolutely essential. And it is taking all of this and you've been making it your own. That's why it's real. That's why it's power. And that's where the connectivity comes to this. When you have made it your own, then it's like, okay, well, duh, okay, I get it, but I get it according to me.
Mm-hmm.
So powerful. This is really, really, really magically powerful.
It's very freeing.
Yes, yes, it is liberating in the extreme. Yes, 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 and empowering and magical. Just magical, magical, magical. Oh, I want to do more. I want to do more. Okay, tomorrow, hurry up. Tomorrow morning, okay, you're working tomorrow morning, right? Now,
I am, yes.
tomorrow evening, I will be in Cottonwood at the house. So I will have free internet. I will be available, from the moment that Beena wakes up, which hopefully will be okay. Not, not this. Beena's going to go to sleep now. So not your next waking up, Donna. I mean Beena, but the one after that. I will be available today also if we want to do more.
Mhm.
In our evening, your morning, and so I'll be available both times, today and tomorrow. But
Okay.
tomorrow especially because today I'm only available until 7 my time because they close over here at 7. Well, I could go to Natural Grocers, I guess. So okay, I might do that. I might go there. So what time do you intend to wake up tomorrow morning, Beena?
Early, as early as possible,
Okay.
because
Okay.
today I suffered a lot by
Okay.
sleeping
Okay.
late.
So what I'll do is I'll go to where I can be available until 9 o'clock. Um, 9 o'clock in your morning, and which is late already for us here. But essentially to be available from like 5 o'clock our time, which is 7 o'clock Donna's time, and then we can continue maybe. Potentially. If you
Okay.
wake up, if you don't, you sleep when you need to sleep. Don't artificially adjust it. If it happens, it happens. If not, we'll do it tomorrow.
No, actually, it was really painful for me. I
Yeah.
slept late and I was like sleeping more, and then I wake up with a stiff neck, and it was like, oh, my
Ah,
head was like
ah,
bursting with pain, and
yeah,
it was
yeah. I get
horrible.
that too. I get that.
And I was actually regretting why I slept more.
Okay. All right. All right. But still, it's a good time to go sleep, and then we'll connect later. So I'll make an effort to I will be, not make an effort. I will be available. So okay. Brilliant.
Mhm.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Okay,
I love it. Love it.
okay,
Oh, magical,
okay.
magical.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you,
Oh,
Sil.
thank you,
You.
Donna. Yes.
Bye.
Thank you, Beena. All right. Bye
Okay,
bye. Bye.
okay.
See you
Bye.
later. See you later. Bye bye,
Bye.
Donna. Bye bye, Beena.
See you.